Be advised, Hunter 2-1, you have an enemy patrol by that bank to the north. Over. Hunter 2-1, Overlord. Estimate 20 enemy foot mobiles approaching you from the southeast. Over.
Soldiers, no poor sap ever won a war by dying for his country. He won it by being all that he can be. Damn the torpedoes or give me death. Eternal vigilance is the price of duty, and to the victors go the spoils. So remember, you're the best of the few and the proud. So ask not what your country can do for you, only regret that you have but one life to live. The war against the Gorgonites will be won. Commando Elite, let the first shot be fired.
Hunter 2-1, 15-plus tangos approaching near the diner to the west. Over.
Search out the Gorgonites and frag them all.
When teenager Alan buys a set of Commando Elite action figures, he's unaware that they have been programmed with military technology. The toys, including leader Chip Hazard, spring to life and start taking their directive seriously, beginning by killing their enemies, the Gorgonites. But Archer and the Gorgonites won't go down without a fight. Alan gets caught in the middle of the war, as does his neighbor and crush, Christy. Welcome to another feature presentation of Midnight Double Feature, and on this episode, we're going to be covering 1998's Small Soldiers, directed by Joe Dante.
Welcome back, my friend. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much, dude. How you doing?
I am good, dude. We decided to go nostalgic this week, didn't we?
Yeah, nostalgic as fuck. Yeah, this is, I mean, dude, I went down like a YouTube rabbit hole today of like 90s toy commercials, of like Saturday morning cartoon intros, like a whole bunch of stuff that I grew up like watching, like a bunch of shit, dude. But yeah, this is an interesting pick. This is your pick, by the way. Why did you pick this?
Yeah, for me, this was a bit out of left field because it's like you're usually the one that's doing the nostalgic ones. You've got Wolf, you've got Flatliners. Come on. So for me, it was just like we've covered a lot of like post 2000 movies in the last couple of weeks. Like we did Casino Royale, we did Mad Max Fury Road, we did Scott Pilgrim. So I was just like, you know what? Let's dig back a little. Let's see what shaped our childhoods. And usually those kinds of movies we kind of hold close to our chests. Like those are the movies that we kind of like don't really want to touch because we're like, fuck, man. Like I don't know if I'm ready to cover that yet because it's got such a special meaning to me. But Small Soldiers was always a movie that I grew up with, man. I totally ran out that fucking tape, dude. Like that was a VHS that I totally just absolutely withered out. And it was just a movie that just kind of got lost in time, I think. Like no one's talking about it today. You don't really hear much about it.
No.
Yet at the same time, when we posted it on our socials that we're doing this movie, everyone decided to fucking comment. Like this,
dude, everyone lost their goddamn minds, dude. It's like, really? This is the one that everybody's coming out for? And I was like, you think you've got your audience down after almost a year, and then they just uppercut you. You're like, wow, fuck. I mean, all right, cool. I mean, but really, when you think about it, though, this was something that even both of us watched, and I didn't wear the VHS out as much as you did, but this was definitely, oh, fuck yeah, I remember some Small Soldiers, you know?
Dude, when I said it, I was like, because I gave you a choice of 4. By the way, those 4 movies, actually 3 of those movies will come up. One of them is obviously Small Soldiers, but the other 2, they'll come up in the conversation because, like they do actually come up in this movie. And I said, I gave you a whole like bunch of 90s movies, and I was like, let's talk about either one of these 4. And then I thought about it for a bit, and while 2 of those movies are much, much higher qualities than Small Soldiers, this just has a special place in my heart, dude. Like this is ultimately like my childhood movie. But yeah, look, I'll get into my thoughts. We'll get into your thoughts as well. First, though, I just want to preempt this episode by just plugging our socials real quick. Guys, thank you for joining us here at Midnight Double Feature. This is another one of our feature presentations. That's basically where we take Small Soldiers or any other movie that we choose to cover and we just sort of take it sequentially, scene by scene, make some, shitty jokes and give a little bit of insight. There won't be that much on this one. I'm just gonna say that right now.
You know what? I want to get into the cultural subtext of Small Soldiers with you.
The very layered and very deep meaning resonating themes of this movie.
Right. Yeah, I want to talk about the themes, and I just really want to get into where all 5 of the fucking screenwriters were when they were writing this. No, I think it's like 4, but it might be. I think it was like 5 people who have writing credits. One uncredited. Yeah, I was like, God damn, dude, that is insane. 5 different people.
And sometimes you can kind of feel that writing kind of clashing, but we'll get to it. So, guys, you can follow us on Facebook. We've got 2 pages on Facebook. We've got Midnight Double Feature, which is our main page, and that's where you can like that page and you get updates of what's new at Midnight Double Feature, what we've just uploaded, what we're going to cover next. And then we also have the After Party, which is our group and our community where people come together and they comment on movies that they love, they want to talk about, whatever's in the news right now. And things like that, and that's where you can have a little bit of input as to, what you think about the movies that we're covering. A lot of people reached out to us on that page for Small Soldiers, which we'll read off at the end. So that's a great place for everyone to get in touch with us. But we also have Instagram, which is at Midnight Double Feature, which is a great page. Again, lots of people reaching out to us via there, and we have Twitter, which is at MDF Pod. Okay, so without any further ado, look, I already gave my thoughts on this a little bit. I do want to get into it a bit more after you, though, Colin. Talk to me about Small Soldiers. So when you were a kid, when you were little Colin and fucking, I still imagine you with like a beard, like a fucking
just a big kid with a huge forehead and a fucking red beard running around.
Yeah, just running around, just watching Small Soldiers. I want to be like the Commando Elite. What'd you think about it as a kid, and what do you think of it now?
Well, I can remember. It's a funny story because I can remember being. I was 8. I was 8 when this movie came out. I might have been 7 because I was born in June, so I'm kind of like right on the cusp. I might have been 7, might have been 8. I don't really know. But basically, I remember going to stay the night at a friend's house, and I don't ever remember saying this, but he was like, "Hey, how about we watch Small Soldiers?" I was like, "All right, fuck yeah, I really like that movie." He's like, "Yeah, I remember you telling me it's your favorite movie," and I was like, "I don't fucking remember that shit." Like, even at being 8-year-old, like I was like, "I'm pretty sure that's fucking bullshit." Like, I don't ever remember saying that. I was like, whatever. I mean, fucking 8. God, who knows? When I was 8, fuck that. When I was 8, my favorite movie was Monster Squad. Fuck you. Like, there's no way it was Small Soldiers. I remember loving it. I had a lot of these toys. I had, I definitely had an Archer. I definitely had the Franken monster one that the Gorgonites have. Cause I think he has a couple of different names, like after they rebuild him and stuff. I just can't remember.
Troglicon or something?
Yeah. Troglicon. I had him. He was a fucking blast, dude. He had this like club arm, and you pressed a button in the back, and it swung the club in like a 360 thing, and like smashed down on shit. It was awesome. And
just quickly, did you watch? You don't watch Better Call Saul, do you?
No.
He's voiced by Michael McKean, who's one of the main guys in that show. He's fantastic, and you can definitely tell it's his voice.
Oh, that's crazy. Wait, he voices who in this movie?
Troglicon. Like, he's got that robotic sort of like English voice, yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, I think that, I mean, it's crazy. All right, this movie's directed by Joe Dante. Gremlins, The Burbs. Burbs is one of my favorite movies. Joe Dante also did Piranha, like back in the day. He's done a lot of movies. Then you've also got Dennis Leary. You've got David Cross, Jay Moore. So you've got Phil Hartman. You've got 2 people from SNL. You got a guy from Mr. Show. You got Dennis Leary, who's a comedian. All of the Gorgonites are guys from This Is Spinal Tap, the movie. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? And then most of the command. Yeah, go ahead.
All of the Commando. Yeah, go hit me. Hit me with who the Commandos are.
I think they're all people from Dirty Dozen. I think.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's fucking crazy.
The entire Dirty Dozen.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of them. I think Charles Bronson said he refused to do it, and somebody else, another one of them, they were actually. So what's crazy is Bruce Dern is the radio communications guy.
Link Static.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Link Sadek. That's Bruce Dern, and he's fucking awesome in The Burbs. He plays a very similar character in The Burbs. He's like a commando, prepper kind of nut job guy. But no, like that the guy that was originally going to be his character died in pre-production. So they were like, well, fuck, we've got to get somebody else now. So except for Charles Bronson and the actor that died, it would have been the entire complete cast from The Dirty Dozen. And then you know, like I said, you've got all these different things going on. This is basically Phil Hartman's last movie. I think he did one more after this that was like posthumous, and it's like something fairy tale, something like that. It wasn't very big. This is, for all intents and purposes, this is like one of his last days. Definitely the last big movie he was in. So, and that's just incredibly sad. I mean, Phil Hartman was fucking the SNL, The
Good
Simpsons,
God.
like, oh my God.
I'm just gonna say it, man. He is the MVP of this movie for me. Like every scene that he's in, most of the lines that he gives are the ones that are most memorable to me.
Oh, yeah, especially fucking Jingle All the Way. Oh, these cookies are so good. I'm going to have to check with the regulation board, but I'm pretty sure.
Cookie down.
Put that cookie down. But no, yeah, I absolutely loved him. He's in he's in fucking Three Amigos. Have you ever seen Three Amigos?
Yeah, I have, but a very long time ago, man. Very long time ago.
Very long. But I just remember fucking laughing my ass off. I watched news radio when I was a kid. Obviously, The Simpsons. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You know, it's like, dude, it's so fucking good.
Voice of the generation, dude.
Right. And I think that's just a movie like this. You watch it, and there's just a little kind of caveat of like sadness that you have to embrace with it. And you're like, fuck,
Absolutely.
man. Like it's like watching Mrs. Doubtfire. You know, you're like, oh, fuck, man. That's, you know, it just you think about it then versus now, and it's just like, God, that's just so fucking sad. But what I think is interesting about this movie is that you got Phil Hartman, David Cross, Jay Moore, Dennis Leary. You've got all these people behind it. Then you have Stan Winston doing the special effects. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this movie, it's odd. It should have been way better than it is. For all intents and purposes, like, on paper, this honestly sounds like to me like something that I would have been like front row to go see. And I think what happened was, this is just what I read, that basically as they're making this movie, it's written by two guys who write like National Lampoon and shit like that. I you know what? Fucking sue me. I can't remember all these guys' different names. There's like 4 different writers. I'm sorry. I can't remember all your name. I could just look it up on IMDb, but I'm not.
I've got you. I've got your back. So
thank you.
Gavin Scott, Adam Rifkin, and the other two are actually two that I was going to talk about. And it's actually before they were like super big writers, Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio. So they ended up writing Pirates of the Caribbean, which became a massive, massive thing.
They did Aladdin too, right?
Yeah, they did. That's, I mean, obviously, yeah, that's like as big as Aladdin is. That did not. It didn't really put their name on the map as much as Pirates did, but like, man, like those two work together almost exclusively, and they are like they are the go-to for blockbusters.
Right. And basically what I like from what I took away from the production of this is the fact that about halfway through it, you know, because this is I think this is DreamWorks, which is a division of Disney, and they said, hey, we've got this great toy deal going with Burger King right now, so we're gonna have to drop this down to PG. And it really, and you can kind of, now that I know that, and that's the thing, is like I can't really be objective about it, because now I feel like that might just be lingering in my opinion. But I feel like now I can see that. I watch it and I'm like, dude, because the violence is out of place with some of this stuff. And I'm not one of those people that's easily offended by violence whatsoever, but it does feel out of place with this movie because everyone is so like young in it. And it takes this weird horror movie kind of like turn, you know, it goes from like an action into like a horror thing. You're like, wait, what the fuck? And really, when you think about it, this is just Gremlins. That's all it is.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And like, I don't have a problem with that. I like Gremlins. Not a problem. And I'm glad that Joe Dante is one of, you know, he could have just been lost to that time in the 80s, and he wasn't. And he came out and did a movie like this. And, you know, he's like, I don't know what he's been doing as of lately, but I've always loved, you know, a lot of his older stuff. But I like this a lot growing up. I still like it now. As I watched it, it wasn't as bad as I was like, man, I don't fucking know. I was like, this might be kind of bad. And when I watched it, I was like, you know, it's I mean, it's a kid's movie. I'm not gonna enjoy it as much as I would if I brought my nephew over and he watched it. He would fucking love this movie. And is this not basically Avatar, but with like toys? It's just like, it's like these like real rigid militaristic guys up against like these like natural, like kind of like earthy kind of homebound people.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's all part of the story. Like the fact that what is it? This what's the name of Globotech?
Globotech, yeah.
Globotech takes over Heartland Play Systems. Like right in the names, you've got that thing.
Right. It's so like fucking hand over fist. It's like like shoved down your throat with a chimney sweep. It's like goddamn.
Totally.
But no, I still like it now. I think a lot of it holds up. The fact that, it's crazy. You watch this and then you watch stuff that's made like 10 years ago with CGI, and you're like, dude, Small Soldiers looks better than that, and Small Soldiers doesn't even look that good. I was like, that's the crazy part, is it looks decent. It is acceptable for the time, and I don't have a problem with that. It's 1998, dude, and this still, I mean, it looks better than most stuff that's coming out in like 2005. I was like, so I'm like, dude, I don't, like, what the fuck is going on? And the blend of the practical effects as well. I mean, if you listen to the show, I don't need to explain how much I love practical effects. I appreciate it so much more than CGI, and it just fucking blew me out of the water how much actual practical effects. To watch the behind the scenes of these guys actually controlling the limbs individually of these guys, and not just like, oh, I've got some strings, I'm going to move your, like fucking, like basically it looks like pencils attached to the back of each limb, and they're just literally having to walk them manually.
Yeah,
dude.
They had 23 puppeteers on staff for this film, and sometimes it was 5 people at the one time controlling the same character.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Like, that's just, God. But you get what you put into it. That's why it looks so fucking good, because you could have just slapped this in with CGI and said, yeah, well, let's go home. But it's like, no, dude, let's do this right, and let's put some effort into it, because that's what we're going to get out of it. And I still think this is a good movie. It's got some parts that are just like, what the fuck? It's a product of its time, and it is definitely dated, but at the same time, it's not as dated as some of the other stuff that I've seen,
I 100% agree, dude. And I think you might have been a little bit older than me when you first saw this, because this is 1998, so I'm 5. So, like, man, but as a 5-year-old, as a 6-year-old, or whatever the fuck, I love this movie. This was just... because Toy Story had already come out. This was like, Toy Story it had already done that, the sentient toys moving without the humans around.
Oh, yeah.
But man, this was like, let's take Toy Story and kind of give it fucking guns. Let's make it militaristic. Let's make it an action movie. And man, when you're a kid, you don't really get the whole, oh, well, it's violent, but it's not, it's for kids. Like, for me, this was like, man, this is an adult movie. Like back in the day, I was like, man, this is a grown up movie. I'm fucking in on it, man. Just quickly as well, yeah, Matt from our show, our other host, Matt. He couldn't make it, sadly, but he does also love this movie. Surprise, surprise. He says, this is the second movie I ever saw in the cinemas, and I begged my parents to take me to go see it because it was Toy Story with guns. So,
hell yeah,
man. Hell yeah. Like, totally, dude, both you and Matt totally hit the nail on the head, man. You guys absolutely said exactly how I feel about this movie now, because it is not good. The way I sold this movie to you, I was like, hey, so I'm thinking about doing a nostalgic movie, and it's not good, but it's nostalgic. So I definitely preempted you. I was just like, I know it's not good, dude. I know it's not good.
Now, see, I want to put a challenge to you. Is it okay? So it's not a great movie. It's not very good, but is it bad? Is it a bad movie?
It's not bad.
I know,
honestly,
isn't it weird? It kind of just right in the middle. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I can't say this is a shitty movie. I can't. I mean, parts of it are goofy. You apply any logic to movies, and hey, guess what? You can punch 1,000 holes in fucking any movie you watch. But watching stuff like this, I was like, I am just so split down the fucking center with this,
I am now. I mean, like I said, when I was a kid, I loved the fight. Like, this was probably 10 out of 10 when I was a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
I am now, man. Like,
apparently it was my favorite movie. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Dude, this is totally not a bad movie. Like I said to Matt all the time, I class a bad movie if it bores me. If I'm not interested in anything that's going on,
Right.
that to me is a bad movie. And man, I was invested. Like I was partially invested in what's happening in this insane fucking movie, man. Like it's so entertaining, and like even the goofy shit is entertaining. Like the Gwendy dolls, like it always adds like new elements to it. That's like, oh shit, this is actually kind of sort of interesting. Although they don't fully take everything and run with it. Like I would like to see now as an adult, like I would have liked to see more of like Dennis Leary's character. Like he was so fucking interesting to me, Dennis Leary's character, man. Like even though it's just like I'm a CEO boss and this is how it's going to be sold, but I like that angle of it. Like we'll get to that in a sec. I like the angle of like how they sell these things to you. Like to me that's awesome. But you mentioned Gremlins, dude. You like Gremlins? I fucking hate Gremlins. I with a passion, and I can tell you exactly why I hate Gremlins. It's because I saw it for the first time last Christmas. That's right. 4 months ago, it was the first time I saw Gremlins.
Dude, I bet you I've seen it twice in my life, you know?
Really? Oh. And every time, like the entire time I was watching Gremlins was because I was like, oh, this is like Small Soldiers. Like literally, it was like the reverse. But it's literally the same shit. Like when I was watching Gremlins, I'm like, why can't you just fucking punt them out the window? And it's the same thing here. I'm like, just kick them. Just kick them over. Just when they're chasing you with those vehicles, I'm sure you can take like a disc to the fucking arm and just kick their vehicle over. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like Chucky. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Just fucking shoot him with a sawed-off shotgun and just get him the fuck out of here. Like he's
fucking kick that fucker through the post in the end zone, man. Like just get rid of him. Like I don't, yeah. But yeah, man. Like this again. Great, surprisingly great cast, with an amazing sort of like cast and crew behind the camera. Turning in sort of like a bit more of a bland sort of product. And like you said, dude, because they weren't really sure of like what to make, they didn't commit to their initial vision, which, as Clay Boyington said in the after party, they made it into a family movie midway through production, so they could make more money off the merchandising.
Dude, I've got a quote here for you. Let me hit you with this real quick.
Yeah.
Originally, This is Joe Dante. Originally, I was told to make an edgy picture for teenagers, but when the sponsor tie-ins came in, the new mandate was to soften it up as a kiddie movie. Too late, as it turned out, and there are elements of both approaches in there. Just before release, it was purged of a lot of action and explosions. So right there.
Yeah, man. Like fucking straight from the horse's mouth, right? And another person that I do want to talk about is Spielberg, because he is that uncredited writer that we mentioned earlier.
I saw videos of him on set, but I didn't know he was that writer. That's crazy.
Yeah, he did do a lot of uncredited writing. Not a lot, but some of it. And some of it you can actually tell is very Spielbergian. He apparently had a lot of input on what the designs of the Gorgonites would be like. Like that's pretty much all Spielberg. It's a thing, man. Like Spielberg, like you said, DreamWorks, that's his production company. And to me, it's kind of interesting because Spielberg in 1998 released the greatest film of all time. One of the greatest films of all time was fucking Saving Private Ryan. And then like it's like Small Soldiers produced by Steven Spielberg.
Of course.
So it's just kind of like this. It's Spielberg's like seriousness / nostalgia kind of like in 1 year, which is fantastic. It's like when he did Schindler's List and Jurassic Park in the same year.
Oh yeah. That's interesting to hear about him. Just like the juxtaposition of those two movies. Like holy shit.
Definitely. But yeah, man, that's our thoughts on it. Like that honestly, this is one of my. When I hear the music, when I hear Jerry Goldsmith's fucking music, that is the soundtrack of my childhood.
Oh, yeah.
Like that guy, he scored a bunch of shit. I'm not going to go into it, but unfortunately he passed away. Another person who recently passed away, actually, is Dick Miller.
Yeah.
Dick Miller is in every single Joe Dante movie before he passed away. And he passed away 2 months ago at the end of January, which is very, very sad. And it's just, yeah, I was like, that was totally coincidental when I picked this movie. I did see that in the news when he died, but yeah, I didn't like base my pick around that or anything like that. But yeah,
I'm sorry.
man.
I've got to hit you with a little bit of Jerry Goldsmith's resume, please. I'm sorry. I just pulled it up, and
I know it's fantastic. I know it's fantastic.
L.A. Confidential, Mulan, The Mummy, all of the first three Rambo films, Gremlins, Hoosiers, Total Recall, Basic Instinct, The Omen, Patton, Planet of the Apes, Logan's Run, Air Force One. I'm like, God damn, dude! Like, Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and 4 other films within the Star Trek franchise. I'm like, God damn,
Jesus
dude.
Christ, man.
Fuck. Yeah, but yeah, no, I saw that, and I was like, hold on. Holy shit. That just fucking floored me. I was like, God damn, dude.
Well, seeing as we're already here, how about we jump right into it, and I'm going to hit you with a Jerry Goldsmith score that is my childhood.
Let's do it.
What do you say? Fucking awesome. Have a listen to this, man. Like, the way this movie starts with the music, the violin coming in over the title credits, and then that awesome title card. Fucking awesome. Have a listen. I love it.
That is good, dude. That reminds me of some T2 shit, you know?
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. I don't know. Like, when I remember rewinding that and listening to it as a kid, man, I was just like, this is it's such an awesome way to start the movie. And I'm going to say it here that I didn't say it in the opening intro. I think the first half of this movie is much, much stronger than the end half, than the bottom half. What do you think about that? I'll tell you why as we go along, but yeah.
So you're saying that you said the first half is stronger or the second half is stronger?
Yeah, I think the first half is a bit stronger.
Okay. No, yeah, I agree with that because I think that's just the nature of things. Though the setup is always easier than the writing the payoff. But no, I can see that. I think they try to ratchet up with some action later on, and now that we've got the setup of the whole story. But I also think at the same time, because like what Joe Dante said, they were going in this direction already. It was hard to pump the brakes on that. So you have kind of a mixed bag of what's really, is this a horror movie? Who's this aimed at? You've got Dennis Leary like, shove a fucking missile up a guy's ass. And I'm like, God damn, dude, like that's kind of crazy to watch an 8-year-old. Right. I was like, that's kind of nuts. So I don't think they really knew exactly who to target this. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We get Globotech Industries, this little ad at the start. I keep wanting to say Globo Gym.
Yeah. I kept thinking of fucking dodgeball. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Oh boy, I fucking love that movie, man. What's he say? Something about urine? What was it?
Yeah, of course I drink my own urine because it's sterile and I like the taste.
Necessary? Oh, yeah. So, turning swords into plowshares. I'm not kidding. I had to look up what a plowshare was because I was like, that's a weird slogan, but all right.
Wait, what is it? What's a plowshare?
She's like, because this ad at the start, it's like Globotech, turning swords into plowshares for you and your family. And it's kind of like just this like a little, like some kind of tool. I don't know. I fucking looked it up ages ago, but it's like, it's in agriculture, a plowshare or PLOUGH share is a component of a plow. We're just like, okay.
Specific. Right. Very nice.
All right. Nice. Thank you. Thanks for that. Thanks for letting us know, Wikipedia. So this helicopter, by the way, as it comes over this building, it looks super unsteady as it's coming in. Like, are there high winds or something? Like,
you look in, the pilot's got like the controls in one hand and like a flask in the other one. just kind of like dipping out.
He's calling it a fucking mayday as he comes in for a landing.
Yeah.
We meet Irwin and Larry, like you said, played by David Cross and Jay Moore. Goddamn love David Cross, dude. Like, when don't we love David Cross?
Dude, yeah, it's crazy to see these guys who are like, I'm a fucking indie comic. I don't sell out, but I'm in Men in Black and Small Soldiers. Like a bunch of shit like that, you know?
Yeah, dude, totally. Can we just call him Tobias Funke for the rest of the episode?
Dude, I never watched Arrested Development. He's the guy. For me, he's always been the guy from Scary Movie too. And I've always recognized him from that shit.
when he's in the wheelchair and he's like, "I'll do it myself."
Oh, dude, he is so fucking great.
That hot girl walks in and he's like, "It's the best seat in the house," and then he's sitting on that gay guy, and the gay guy's like, "Second best seat." Oh boy, he has 126 acting credits. That's
dude.
insane.
He works his Rick and Morty. I mean, just his voice acting and shit too, dude. I mean, it's unnatural how much he's worked.
But he is genuinely funny, man, especially in Arrested Development. That might be the best thing I've seen him in. Just his character alone and his writing, it's fantastic. So Erwin and Larry are getting ready for a big meeting with Gil Mars, who's just acquired their company, Heartland Toys. And I wrote, Jay Moore is dressed like the Joker. Did you notice what he's wearing?
Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah.
Yeah. The real world sucks.
I was like, that's good. Put that in the first 5 minutes of your fucking kids movie.
Very, very positive, Joe Dante. Very positive outlook of the world you have here. Gentlemen, I'm Miss Kegel. Fuck. He shakes his hand for ages. All right. Dude, I fucking love Dennis Leary. Speaking of comedians, like, he is awesome in this movie. He's got like 3 scenes, but I feel like he just commands the screen every time he's in, like, which is his role. But man, like the way he delivers his lines that he's given, it's fantastic. Like he kills it. The way he enunciates it, it's brilliant. You got any thoughts on fucking Dennis Leary?
Honestly, I used to like Dennis Leary, but like I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy, and he's like,
like, here we go.
Like he's on
Bill Hicks's material.
Hey, you watch your fucking mouth, dude. I will fucking stab you. Like I will stab you and put Bill Hicks in your ears while you die. I swear to God. I love Bill Hicks, dude. Bill Hicks was like, he was like my icon in high school. Like that's who I wanted to be, and he was just genius. And like, it's one thing to steal another comics joke. Sometimes that just happens. It's not intentional. I don't know. I don't even know if he lifted certain jokes. Some say he just lifted the persona of Bill Hicks, the angry, smoking, like kind of guy. But the thing that really gets me is that Bill Hicks dies of cancer in like 94. And then Dennis Leary's next album is called No Cure for Cancer. And I'm like, dude, I don't know about all that. And even Bill Hicks's mom was like, yeah, you're right. You should name your album No Cure for Cancer, because if there was, you wouldn't have a fucking career. And I was like, damn, dude, like, fuck. That is fucking brutal. And like, he is a funny guy, but unfortunately, I think I don't know, he just kind of copied and pasted a lot of stuff that other people were doing at the time. He does, he has a great gift of gab. He is very, just when he talks, he's so... he can really rile people up with his voice. I do think he's very talented at that. So I don't want to just talk bad about him the whole time. I do think he's a good actor. I love him in Sandlot. Even the little bit he's in Sandlot is fucking great.
Well, I thought he was the best part of the recent Amazing Spider-Man movies.
I forgot he's
that
in
he was
those.
in. Sorry, yeah.
Sorry, Miss Kegel, like.
Yeah.
Like Kegel exercise?
yeah, that's why I said it. That's why I laughed about it. I'm just like, gentlemen, I'm Miss Kegel. And I'm like, okay. All right. No worries. I did find something that was like of note about Dennis Leary as an actor. Well, not as an actor, as a person. So in 1999, 6 firefighters from Leary's hometown of Worcester were killed in a fire. Among the dead was Leary's cousin Jerry and his close friend, Lieutenant Tommy Spencer. In response, Leary created the Leary's Firefighters Foundation, which is distributed over $2.5 million worth of equipment, new vehicles, and new facilities. Like that's fucking awesome, dude. And like he did also create a foundation after the 9/11, like for the first responders and things like that, which is great. I love when celebrities do that. Like whenever, it might be a PR thing, which is fine and all, but the fact that is that they are doing it. It is happening. So I do love hearing those stories.
And obviously from doing Rescue Me, which was a cool show.
Yeah. But yeah, I like his generic CEO who only cares about the profits, about what's cool. But yeah, I think all 3 of these guys are great. I love Larry kind of like throwing Erwin under the bus when Mars picks up that flat shoe from the Belch Brigade, and then Larry's just immediately reminds him, oh, the successful product launch was because of me.
Yeah, he's kind of like, that's giving him a look like, that sucks.
Right, exactly. Hi, how are you today?
I do, because he just turns out of nowhere. He's like, and
Dude.
these are the hi, how are you? I'm late.
Not even kidding. I've totally done that in a speech before. I have started talking without introducing myself, and then just midway, hi, I'm Zohab. Hey.
And you're a lawyer. That's good.
Yeah, well, no, this is in like year 10 when I'm doing like those fucking oral presentations that they make you do. And I just started talking and they introduced myself. It's just so weird. But yeah, man, this is in David Cross's wheelhouse. This kind of stuff, right? This kind of comedy. Owen Pauly introduces the Gorgonites. Mars is uninterested when Owen mentions that the kids will learn.
Next.
Next. Larry unveils major chip hazard. It's called multimedia, Owen. Look into it.
What a dick.
I know. But I love this ad. I used to love this ad, man. Like, I remember being disappointed when Later Hazard punches himself out of the box and it's like, it's not glass. I was just like, oh.
Here's the thing that gets me about this scene. Hey, can they really do that? Well, no. Legal says we're covered, blah, blah, blah. How about you just change the ad? You don't have to make the toys actually do it. And because the irony is that the whole reason this movie happens is because he wants the toys to do what they do in the ad. And then in real life, they put out toys that do absolutely nothing like what you see in the ad of the movie or the movie itself. And I'm like, which I know that's not going to happen. That's insane. Nobody's going to pay $80 for a toy that can do that shit. But like, I just thought that's so funny that that's his problem. And that's why they wanted it in the movie. And then they turn around and sell a bunch of merchandise in real life that doesn't do any of that shit, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. It is a weird like setup, but if it doesn't happen, then the movie doesn't happen. It's just one of those things you have to buy. But it's like I totally get what you're saying. Like Leary's character here is just like, why? I don't know why he's disappointed. Number one, because like just literally just go out and shoot another ad. Like I don't know. But yeah, Mars wants the toys to do what they do in the commercial. Everything else is just a toy. He declares that the commandos will be the good guys hunting down the freaks that are the Gorgonites. And then you get the line of the movie, don't call it violence, call it action. Kids love action.
That's a good line.
That is a good line. And you know what? It's you can't do that now. You can't pull that off I don't think you can pull that off in a movie now. I know that might be borderline, but man, in a world where we have school shootings and stories about kids getting their hands on guns, I don't think you can get away with that now. That is an inherently 90s thing.
Right. Yeah, and this is where you see stuff like this start getting phased out. Like
Absolutely.
things being too violent getting like phased out. And I'm like, God, that fucking sucks.
Absolutely, man. Like it was a different time, man. Like 1998.
Like did you play with toy guns?
I did. Yeah, we used to have cap guns all the time. Yeah, for sure.
I've only shot two people ever. I mean, that's my point. I haven't really hurt anybody.
That's pretty low for an American.
I know, right? Usually, you got to be 18 to drive, 21 to drink, and you got to shoot 3 people by the time you're 25.
But I do remember, man, like when I turned, I can't remember how old I was, maybe like when I was like 16 or something. I remember walking into the local supermarket, and they used to have like these toys on like these spindles that you can spin around. And I remember as a kid, like they used to have those toy cap guns that you could like load with the caps, and like they just fire like blanks. But man, like now you can't get a hold of them because they actually resemble guns, albeit like obviously fake guns, but guns nonetheless. And it's so bizarre and wild that the world has come to that, unfortunately. But yeah, Kegel gives the guys their security cards and their password, and dude, ridiculous. These will give you unlimited access to top secret global technology. What is happening? What is happening? You're going to get these toy makers access to nuclear weapon chips?
Dude, yeah, because it's such just a word salad.
What is happening?
It's like when he goes to search for the chips, he's just like micro Intel gigabyte processor. Like he's just punching a bunch of like 90s like techno terms into stuff that makes it sound fancy. The 90s were horrible for doing that, by the way. I'm just like putting in like I was watching Ernest Scared Stupid, and he's like it has a 80. He's like, I have 80 hertz of megabits and so like just total word salad of just techno shit.
It's not even the techno shit. It's the giving these toy makers unlimited access to top secret Globotech technology. That's literally that is I wrote it down word for word, the line. These will give you unlimited access to top secret Globotech technology. Like, you could have put in a security firewall, and like these are toy makers. Make no mistake. Like, these are toy makers who now have access to nuclear microprocessors or even weapons. Like, what is happening here? What planet am I on?
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, God, could you imagine how this movie could have gone? Like, just like they build like Iron Man dolls that can fucking do Iron Man, just like fucking unibeaming people into pieces.
Jarvis. Yeah. Larry uses Owen's password Gizmo, which is of course a reference to Gremlins, to order the X1000 chips and commissions the products without any testing. But I guess they are on a 3-month deadline, right? It's kind of like hand waved away. But man, like you could have done a little bit of testing. I mean, if they control nukes, then like, come on, like just ask the Japanese. Oh boy, oh boy, we've got a lot of time to go on the podcast.
Yeah, don't worry, we don't have any downloads over there.
No, we're good. Dude, and okay, we get to the opening credits. Movies don't do opening credits like this anymore. Like,
no, they use the time wisely, you know? They don't just... Sorry.
Let's take 10 minutes to introduce our cast and crew.
Right, yeah, it's like credits nowadays, they never... Like, they're like, oh, but there's no dialogue. It's like, that's fine. It's a visual medium. You don't have to have you don't have to worry about that. You can get a lot of shit out of the way in the time that your credits are up. Like, you really can. Nobody uses their credits wisely anymore. And I really think that's kind of like a lost art in a way. That I love that technique of like getting some shit just out of the way. You can get a lot of exposition out of the way that way, you know?
I agree. Like, the way they build these Gorgonites and Commando Elite. Like this is actually a fantastic scene. Like, even though I'm bagging out this sort of opening credit sequence, like the Jerry Goldsmith's music here is fantastic, and I do think it is way too good for this movie, by the way. Like, and it's also like our first like look at Stan Winston's effects. Like, this is our first look at it, and it's just like, holy shit, man, Stan Winston, you are a god. You're a god among men.
Oh yeah.
God damn it, man. We meet Alan riding his bike through the neighborhood. I'm just like, fucking hell. Like, I don't like Alan, by the way. I didn't like Gregory. I didn't like Gregory Smith as a kid, and I still don't like him now. Like,
I would just love to see that kid riding his bike, and it's just like bum 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 bum, just like the theme's playing, and it just there's like a record scratch, and you come out just all fucking 200 pounds of you, and just slam into this kid on the bike, like just fucking.
You know what I would do, dude? Like, he's riding past. I would open the fucking car door on him.
just fucking nail him, and then just take his wallet. just be like, thanks, kid.
You know what I hate about him? I hate his hair. Like, that fucking part, that 90s part. Like, fuck off.
Well, he looks like a 19th century British school child who has anemia or something. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, he looks kind of just like, please, sir, can I have some more? Like, he constantly has this look to him that's so, like, morose and sad. You know, I'm
please,
just like, God,
Dad, will you trust me?
Yeah. Like, dude, you know what's crazy? That kid, the actor, went on to, he's, like, directing The Flash now. Like, he's done some episodes for The Flash and stuff. So he's actually still working. Funny story, I first saw him on a show called Everwood. Or no, after this, after Small Soldiers, I saw him on Everwood, which was, like, Chris Pratt's first big break. So, like, I remember Chris Pratt from that show. I don't remember Chris Pratt as Parks and Rec and Star-Lord. I remember him from Everwood way back in the day. And the crazy part is, Agent Carter's niece, the present-day one that Captain America's kind of hooking up with, I can't remember her name, Agent 41 or something like that. I can't remember her name. But she's also in Everwood as well. And I'm like, oh, shit, like, that's kind of crazy. Like, just making connections, man.
Yeah, I forgot her name as well. I used to remember it, but... yeah, Jesus Christ. But hey, she's a pretty face. But yeah. But yeah, man, like, I never liked this kid. He works in his dad's shop. And we meet Dick Miller as Joe. I love Joe, man. Like, he's kind of got this humor about him, and he feels very genuine as well.
And in 2 years, he's gonna be like, "Hey, Joe, you ever try pot?" Like in 2 years, he's the guy who's gonna introduce him to shit, you know?
Oh, totally. He's like that old sort of like friend / uncle who's just going to introduce you to a world of drugs.
He's the guy that you think is so cool as you're growing up, and then when you become a teenager, he's like, "Now, I'm not saying there's any difference between black people, but..." You're like, "Oh, Joe, come on, don't do this, man."
I liked you, Joe. I thought I liked you, man.
I know, don't do this. Come on, don't do this to me, Joe.
Yeah, Brian. Yeah. I love how they just casually open up the stock. Like, you're in deep shit, delivery driver. You just casually opened it. Like, this has been paid for. Ellen is impressed by Hazard and Archer. "Greetings, I am Archer, emissary of the Gorgonites." So much so that he wants Joe to, quote, accidentally lose a few. He'll lose the paperwork someplace. Like, this is actually larceny, by the way. Like, you're committing larceny. Like, you're going to jail, Dick Miller.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I mean, just the fact that this, like, 13 to 15-year-old kid can manipulate you like this. Like, I can't imagine if an adult was like, "Give me your wallet." "Well, I don't really need it anyways." "And take off your pants." Well, if you insist. He's like, what can an adult do to this guy, you know?
Right, exactly. Dude, there's a lot of that shit in this. Like, what can these, like, toys do to these adults? Like, is the question. Like, later on the fucking, front lawn, like, just kick him. Just kick him. Like, just go out there and start kicking him. Ugh. I don't like your tone. It's too loud. I like his delivery, man. Like, he's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I always wanted these standees. Like, the design of them is awesome. Like, that cartoon comic book style, like, that he's holding. Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I love that. Any kind of like 90s, like Extreme Ghostbusters, the Men in Black cartoon I watched when I was a kid. Like, they all have this real great, like, Jackie Chan Adventures, like a real dark kind of like filter to them. I love them. They're real gritty.
Absolutely, dude. Tommy Lee Jones, by the way, is the best and only choice for Hazard. Like, he is fucking fantastic, man. Between this and Men in Black, like, my childhood was Tommy Lee Jones, and it's so kind of like fucked up to say because he looks like an old oak tree every fucking time I see him.
Yeah, no, like, it's like Tommy Lee Jones didn't age for like 40 years, and then it just slammed into him, like, out of nowhere, dude. And it's like, dude, holy shit.
Literally, like, looks like a melting candle. Like, the skin is like falling off his face. But,
he looks like a 2-week-old carved out pumpkin. Like, goddamn, dude, his face just like shrunk in.
When he pulls the gun on Archer, "Freeze!" Love his dude. Again, his voice work in this is absolutely amazing. I'm going to be quoting it all the time. Sorry, guys, but it's just going to happen. We meet Christy, played by Kirsten Dunst, which is, by the way, the most awful name to say. Kirsten Dunst. Like, come on.
Yeah, it is a weird name.
It's funny, and this is like what I was mentioning earlier, because one of my other picks was Jumanji. Like, when I gave you those 4 movies, the other pick was Jumanji, and she's in that, dude.
Right.
She's in Jumanji. She was in, like, okay, she's great in Jumanji. She's not great in this. We know that she could act when she was younger as well. I mean, Interview with a Vampire. Like, I just don't think they give her. They're like, all right, hey, you're gonna play this girl next door who has an asshole boyfriend, but really the kid that lives by you is really attracted to you, and you're gonna wind up with him at the end. And then probably in about 6 years, you're gonna do the same thing with a guy named Sam Raimi. It's like, dude, it is the exact same thing. And it's like, dude, when you don't give her anything, I mean, don't expect me. It's just kind of, you're a girl who, and she does more in this than Mary Jane ever does in Spider-Man. She's actually like kind of proactive, and she's not just like, "Oh no, Alan, save me." Like, she actually gets up and starts doing shit, and I like that. But at the same time, like, yeah, they don't give her a lot to do in this. She's kind of two-dimensional. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, Neil Jordan gave her some shit to do in Interview, but man, like, for me, it's not about like what the agency of the character in this. For me, it's about her delivery of her lines. Like later when they're on the lawnmower and she's talking about the relationship, I'm like, God, this is just kill me now, murder me, please. Her little brother is obsessed with the toys. They buy those stupid Gwendy dolls. I guess they couldn't afford to say Barbie, but all right, no worries. And by the way, after this scene, I'm sorry, Alan. She's dating a guy who drives a bright red motorbike with his red helmet. Like, this is not the last time we'll see a person who is obviously gay pretending to be straight. Because in the next scene,
Really? You picked up on that?
We meet the dad from Transformers and the lesbian that he married.
Wait,
Come
what?
on, dude. You gotta stick with me here.
Dude, the first thing I thought when I saw the guy is I was like, how old is he? Like, he's like, don't get me wrong. In Tennessee, you can ride a motorcycle at like 14. Like, you can get a driver's license to ride a motorcycle at like 14 or 15. Last time I checked. But this kid is like on his way to the set of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I'm like, dude, like this guy's like 16, 17. Like, she's like, what, 13, 14, 15 here? I'm like, no, this is weird, man.
Colin, like, this is an airtight movie. It's written into the script, dude. Didn't you notice when she says, I only date older guys? Like, there is no holes in this movie. You can't pick this movie out.
It's so fun. I only like older guys. Oh, okay. Like, guys that can drive. Well, guys that can file for Social Security, have 401ks.
Yeah, I sometimes like to drop them off to the retirement home on my way out to lunch. Yeah, but yeah, dude. Like I said, I thought like this guy that they chose to play him. Like, I'm just like, he is like a cardboard cutout. Like, it's terrible. It's just like he gives like he doesn't have any speaking lines yet. Like, he speaks later, but I can't watch him. Like, he is like a token of the 90s. But yeah, bright red motorbike, bright red helmet, probably gay. Probably. And like I said, dude, next scene, dad from Transformers and the lesbian that he married, because she's probably a lesbian. But yeah.
And well, it's one of those relationships where like 20 years into it, they kind of like realize like, oh my God.
Oh my God, you don't like my dick.
I gotta admit though, I think his mom is super hot. I was like, dude,
really?
I'm a big fan of like short hair and stuff. And I think it's funny that he's the one kind of like, oh, well, I don't know what to do. And she's like, honey, calm down. Like, you can tell she kind of has to like pull them through a lot of stuff. Like, which, I mean, that's just kind of how relationships go. You both help each other out, but he's always freaking out. And she's always like, bitch, please shut up. Like, you were always being a little bitch. God damn.
I think between like the calming, the woosah shit and the tennis, like, I'm just like, I don't know. That's a bit
She's like
much for
two
me.
steps away from like Michael's wife in GTA 5 from like fucking a yoga instructor and moving out with the kids.
She's like constantly stressed out.
Yeah, right. She's so close to that.
Good pull with the GTA. Holy shit.
Actually, I'm probably going to, fuck it, I'm getting off here. I'm going to go play some GTA.
I'll be on Red Dead.
Oh, nice.
I do like Kevin Dunn in this film, though. Like you said, dude, like, he's always like stressing out. He's got a weird energy about him. Like, the way he delivers lines later that I'll get to. Like, I do like him.
If anybody plays George Lucas in a biopic, it has got to be him, dude.
He's got to be Kevin Dunn.
He's also in Ghostbusters 2. I have a very strong psychic feeling that the world will end on New Year's Eve.
No. You gotta do the hesitating, like when he looks up to the roof and he's like, it's like he's doing
his
the vision.
tongue out.
Yeah.
I love
he's
that
doing
movie.
the blinking. Yeah, for sure. It'll end on midnight. Yeah. So yeah. Oh man. And then we get to Phil Hartman as Phil Fimple. Man, we needed more of him in this movie. There is just way too little, because like, for me, like I said, he steals every scene that is in. For me, he steals every scene that is in. I think this was his last film, like you said. He was murdered just before the movie premiered, and the film is dedicated to him. Dude, I only found out how Phil Hartman died not too long ago after listening to...
Oh, really?
Yeah, after listening to a Joe Rogan episode, because obviously Joe Rogan knew him really well, having worked with him on news radio.
Yeah.
And dude, shot by his ex-wife in bed.
Yeah.
While he was sleeping. Oh my God.
Now, let me go... I'm going to take you 2 levels deep with this. I'm going to make it quick, okay? Because we're going to fucking start moving.
You know I love my murder mysteries and shit, so.
Yeah. Okay, see, you know who Andy Dick is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a well-known fact that Phil Hartman's wife is she has dependency issues, and this is I'm just saying this is what I heard. I'm not going to try and purport this as fact, but I've read this several places that Andy Dick was at a party, Phil Hartman's wife was there, and he offers her drugs, knowing that she's had these struggles and that she's trying to get clean. Right. And then I think a few weeks later, she kills Phil Hartman. And that's kind of like a lot of people have looked at Andy Dick and blamed him. You can't, I mean, that's a fucking piece of shit move. But I mean, I'm not saying he forced her to do it, but I'm saying that's still, I mean, you contributed. So cut forward to, I don't know how many years later, John Lovitz is at a show that Andy Dick is doing.
I'm reading this now as you're speaking.
Yeah, John Lovitz, big, was really, really good friends with Phil Hartman. They were just some best of friends. I can't remember. There's some altercation between Andy Dick and John Lovitz. Andy Dick looks at John Lovitz and says, "I'm going to put the Phil Hartman hex on you." In front of all of these people. Yeah, you're talking to a guy who was best friends with Phil Hartman, and you directly contributed to his death. And you're going to say that to him? You know what John Lovitz did? He waits for him to get off stage. He meets him at the bar, grabs him by the back of the head, and slams his face into the fucking bar.
Oh my God.
I was like, dude, and I mean, I'm not a big fan of Andy Dick. He's an annoying little fuck. But
no, I agree.
I was like, holy shit, that is awesome, dude. That is such a great story.
That's awesome, especially because I actually do like John Lovitz. Like,
yeah, same here.
I find him hilarious, man. Like, and now that you mention it, because I didn't know him and Phil Hartman were friends, they have a very like similar style of comedy. Like their delivery and their voices are fantastic. By the way, check out John Lovitz in Rat Race if you haven't seen it. Hilarious.
Subway, eat fresh.
Oh man, but yeah, this intro scene might be my favorite scene of his. I love the pause when Ed, the satellite guy, corrects him on his name. That little pause. I'm about to read you this quote that he does.
Do it. Hit
This delivery was the epitome of this movie for me. He was just telling me that the angle of the Earth's tilt on its axis is relative to the geocentric orbit of the transmission satellite, restricts the placement for optimum reception.
This is what kills me most about that scene. It's the joke that goes unsaid. It's the fact that he can't remember Ed from Al, but he remembered all of that stuff. And I was dying laughing because I've never picked up on that before. And I was like, dude, you can't get 2 letters right, and you remembered all of that. I was like, holy shit, that's awesome,
dude. I fucking love it because it's like I didn't pick up on that. For me, it was just the pause and the way like Hartman looks at him.
Reception.
Me and my brother would like say that back and forth all the fucking time. Optimum reception, exactly like that. And our parents thought we were fucking idiots. They're like, "What are you doing? What are you talking about?"
I'll never forget Phil Hartman talking about Matt Foley, the whole Chris Farley thing, when he's like, "Well, he's been down in the basement drinking coffee for about 4 hours now." That's one of my favorite lines, dude. It's so fucking great.
I love Hartman, man. But have you ever had a shitty neighbor like this?
No, never.
No, neither have I. But like, apparently, like it's going to be a thing, right? But yeah, so of course Stuart is against technology while Phil is all for it. Again, like we did joke about this movie not being very deep or layered, and look, trust me, it isn't. But there is this whole level of like consumerism sort of angle that they're going for. Like they're trying to comment on it, and like the kiddie nature of the movie, I guess, of where the script turned like halfway through the production, like that. I think that took away from it a little bit more. Like I'm sure there was supposed to be a lot more commentary on it. It feels like there was. Like the start of this is very heavy. Well, heavier, I guess.
No, for sure.
Yeah. So when Stuart says that Phil has so much techno crap, they're basically living in a cancer node, Phil's reaction is priceless. You know, there's never been any conclusive data providing link between.
Hey, let me borrow that axe for a little while.
I'll check the zoning laws, but I think they'll prove me in the right here.
Dude, it's so great. He's like, all right, see you. And just goes cutting right back into the tree.
Oh, man. So it turns out Alan's got issues, man. He goes negative against his mother so quickly. Like, this is such a happy moment. And then it's just like, as soon as the dad leaves, it's like, fuck off, mum. Jesus
Well, dude, the part
Christ.
that cracks me up, she's like, did you empty the cash register? Yes, I counted this, and I locked the doors. I can do something right. Hey, how about you pick your fucking bike up out of the yard, you piece of shit? You fucking ass. Like, it pissed me off. You're walking in, talking about how responsible you are, and fucking leaving this thing in the front lawn. You fucking white trash piece of shit. Pick your bike up. It fucking pissed me off. I was like, dude, that's like, I don't waste stuff, and you're just pouring a gallon of milk down the drain. It just drove me nuts, dude. I'm like, hey, pick your fucking bike up, kid.
Well, you said pick your bike up, but like the way he just goes so negatively, I'm like, geez, kid, settle down and just have a wank. Just watch some porn and just settle down.
Yeah, it makes me think, him having that computer in his room makes me think of Rick. Well, it's a Rick and Morty thing, but you don't watch Rick and Morty. Never mind.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, his dad keeps busting in on him, and he's like, hey, I'm just saying, I'm 13 in here. I got a laptop. You're just playing with fire, old man.
Morty. Yeah. Oh, Rick. Yeah. Alan and Archer bond. This reminds me of the scene in Gremlins because it's very reminiscent. Like that scene, like they're literally in the boys' room, right?
Right.
Yeah. Greetings, Alan. Now shut up. That got the biggest laugh of me as a kid, but now it's just like, eye roll.
Yeah.
Back at the toy store, Chip Hazard breaks out of his box and takes command of the other commandos. I think the effects mostly hold up, man. Like they still got that little plasticine look, but because they are technically plastic, it is sometimes a little hard to tell.
Right. No, I don't really have a problem with it, especially when Chip Hazard's walking towards the camera. I was like, yeah, that's digital, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't bother me in Toy Story, but it works in Toy Story because the entire film is digital like that. It works, but in this, it's kind of harder because you're blending those kind of styles. But once look, we've got Who Framed Roger Rabbit in 90, and that blended, old-timey cartoon and real world, fucking insanely well. Just like at this point, this is 8 years later, you should be able to blend those pretty well, even though it's a different type of animation. And I think they do a great job. There's only a couple of times where I was just like, nah, I'm not buying that. But this was not one of them. I thought this was all done pretty well for 1998.
Yeah, exactly. And look, the effects were done by ILM, which, 6, no, fucking hell, I'm trying to do maths here. 5 years earlier, Jesus Christ, they did Jurassic Park. So, I think the effects are fantastic for 1998 and for what they're going for. You know what? Fantastic maybe is a strong word, but still. We meet the team: Butch Meathook, Sniper, Nick Nitro, Brick Bazooka, Link Static, Kip Killigan. Obviously, Brick Bazooka is the Arnold Schwarzenegger of the group, right? Like, he's the one that goes up to the Predator and says, "You're one ugly motherfucker."
Dude, they wanted the Predator crew to be the Commando Elite.
I know. That's why I said it, and I was hoping you'd pick up on that. I was hoping you did your research. Oh, that's my co-host right there. That's my co-host.
Read a little bit.
Nice. I love Hazard snapping Killigan's gun. Standard issue is insufficient. And then you get the line, "There will be no mercy." Archer goes through the Encyclopedia Encarta, comes across a random photo, and he just randomly assumes it's Gorgon. Like, okay, all right, fine. By the way, the cat licking him still gets me. Like, the practical face of Archer reacting to it is priceless.
He's like, oh.
He's loving it.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. I got to say two things real quick. The town, I got to say, even though we don't really see a lot of it, I think it's through all the windows of this toy shop, and we're really only 4 or 5 locations this whole movie. But this town feels like, for one thing, I hate to say it does feel like every 90s fucking town and 90s movies and stuff, small town. But because that's so established at this point, I don't think they have to do it as hard. But I can still I still get a feel for it. If you told me this was Derry from It, I would believe you. It has that small town kind of feel to it. And I like that a lot. And also the design of Archer is fucking awesome. I think Archer looks insanely cool, dude. I love that character design. It's really cool.
Absolutely fantastic, dude. And you know what? That reminds me, when you said that the town is kind of inherently 90s, like I said earlier, the other movie that I was going to choose was Jumanji. And man, I got confused at the start because at the start, Jumanji, it starts with a kid riding through a town, the same exact sort of opening. Like, and the town looks pretty much exactly like this. And I was like super confused. I'm like, wait, what?
Dude, yeah, that was just such a, I mean, when you look at PBS shows like Wishbone, I grew up watching, was very much so like that. Like this, like Ernest Scared Stupid. There's a lot of holdovers from the 80s, because this feels like a straight up 80s movie. This feels super 80s.
Totally.
So we're still holding on to that. Kids on bikes, kids being independent of adults and not being able to tell adults about a situation kind of thing. And I love that. I have no quarrels with that. I love it. But it does feel a little out of place with a 1998 backdrop, though.
Yeah, I do agree. Like, it's a movie that's kind of like nostalgic of itself, sort of thing.
Right, right.
Hard cut to the US puzzle flag, which is obviously a nod to Patton. While Hazard gives his rousing speech, I feel like Tommy Lee Jones was born with an army general's voice. Like, I can't imagine him with a child's voice. And the commandos gang rape the Gorgonites, because that's what happens here.
to pieces, I mind you, pieces.
Yeah, 2 pieces, man. Like, that's wild. Next morning, Alan works to clean up the carnage left behind the commandos. And I'm just like, Kirsten, the sign says closed, bitch. She's so fucking persistent.
I know, right? And that's the funny part is he's like, man, I'm just so into this chick. Like, oh my God. And she shows up. He's like, hey, read the sign, you fucking stupid bitch. I'm like, whoa, like, calm down, Alan. Like, he is so just like, hey, we're closed. Do you mind? I'm like, dude, I think you're trying to get your dick wet a little bit. Like, maybe not be such a dick to this girl when she shows up to the door. Like, maybe.
He obviously wants his father's approval a bit more than getting his dick wet.
I know. I'm like, dude, this is one of those things where you can be like, hey, come on in, but you're one of the only people I can let in, like, blah, blah. Like, cool. Now you've got a whole shop to yourself. Like, come on, dude. But he's just like, oh, no, fuck off, dude.
Yeah. So, are you pulling some kind of insurance scam? We find out that Alan is kind of a badass. I mean, like, with that haircut, why wouldn't he be a badass?
Oh, my God.
Also, take note, she offers to help him after she finds out he's a bad motherfucker. Did you figure that out? Did you see that? She's like,
no, I didn't catch that.
You. No, she's like, oh, yeah, I'll help you out. After he tells his story that he's a bad motherfucker.
Because he can't be too bad. Because she wants to be a
bone. Yeah.
She wants to be able to fix him.
Yeah.
and then also, it's like, dude, you get this kid who's just like, I was a bad kid, but I'm changed now. And she's like, aw.
Yeah, fuck off. He gets a boner because she likes Led Zeppelin. And like, dude, I always thought that she was older than him because of the height difference, but really she's 1 year younger than Gregory Smith.
Dude, because I was reading, she's born in 82.
Yeah.
This is 98, so she's 16?
Yeah. And he is born in 83.
So he's a year younger, but still, I'm like, damn, so he's 15 and she's 16? Like, I feel like these are 2 13-year-olds hanging out.
No. Like, I always thought she always kind of looked young for her age anyway. It's just, she was always a little bit tall. But, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so Stuart pays them a visit. Alan low-key is annoyed that he's checking up on him. Dusting with what, a croquet mallet?
I love all these toys too. Hey, these are great if the power goes out. That should be the tagline of your whole store. It's like,
oh, totally.
Remember when we didn't have electricity?
Yeah, remember when we used to like churn butter with our hands? Yeah, like that.
These are toys we played with when the Depression happened and everyone had polio.
And no war toys because I don't like guns. Yeah. He's like he's too like if he waited like 2 decades later he'd be in the right decade, right? Like no guns in my shops. Yeah.
Yeah, everything is like ball in a cup and hula hoops. I'm like, fuck off.
Ball in a cup.
Oh god.
Oh god. Chrissy straight up steals the goddamn toys. Like she just takes them.
Now you're talking about she takes wait. Tell me, she walks out of the store. She gives them right back to him, though, doesn't she?
Does she? Because she has them under a jacket.
Right. Well, I think that I don't know if she's grabbing them because his dad's there. I think she hands them right. She goes, "Hey, here are your toys," and she gives him Archer back. Like she gives him the stuff back because all the other ones are gone now, and he says this one's defective. So no, she gives them back to him. You Fucking goddamn idiot. Watch the fucking movie. You picked it. God damn it.
Obviously, I wasn't thinking about this movie much. All right, like I was just kind of like tuned out. Or maybe I was high, but no, I wasn't.
You were snorting coke with Andy Dick.
Andy Dick.
Letting him put that last name to use.
Yeah. This, obviously, you can't be responsible. You fucked up too many times in the past. It's such a 90s trope and a plot device. Like, that's so 90s, dude. I
would just really love if they were like, he never did anything. They just caught him with like a Marilyn Manson CD or something like, oh God, he's listening to NWA. He's hanging out with black people. They sit down with him.
Good God, he's removing his ribs so he can suck his dick.
Well, and I love this guy shows up and he's like, hey, we're ready today. You're supposed to cheer me on at practice. And she's like, oh, sorry, something else came up. And he's like, oh, that's cool. We got a JV game, blah, blah. I'm like, no one ever puts a game and a practice on the same fucking day. And for one thing, I don't think you're playing. I think you're a goddamn coach for these people. Like, for one thing, because you do not look like a 15 or I know they're supposed to be a little bit older. So I only go for older guys. This is like the young, this is like the oldest kid from fucking Home Improvement with Tim Allen. I'm like, dude, he's like 20. He's like fucking 20. Come on.
Oh, man. Stuart goes to fix the broken mask, but all of his tools have disappeared. I don't believe it. Again, man, like, his delivery's great. The commandos are surveying Alan. How the fuck did Link Static get up in this tree? Like, he's just up there.
Hey, if you're gonna pick this, you can't ask me shit like that.
I know. There's a lot of that shit, dude. There is a lot of that shit coming. Don't worry. I love him knocking over the eggs. Like, he's just killing these fucking birds.
Just in case you didn't know, these guys are bad.
Yeah, they might be the good guys. I don't know. Brick Bazooka with the bike scene, right? So the CGI here, it's not terrible. Like we already said, it's still, you can still pick it out, but it's not that bad. I do like the joke, Gorgonite Canine Corps.
I think their CGI looks good when it's nighttime shots and we're not as close up as this.
Yes. So this was the year of Godzilla 98 because we need to hide our CGI with night shots. Yeah, for sure. I don't like how many puns there are in this movie, dude. I'll have your dog tags, is what he says to the dog.
Oh, God.
There are a lot. Dude, wait till we get to the Gwendy dolls. Like, goddamn. But man, this was such a compelling action scene to me as a kid. Like, this is just like, don't let him get up there. Don't let him get up there. Oh, man.
I can picture you. No, Mom, it's fucking totally. Did
you do a British accent for me?
This could totally fucking happen, Mom. Look. Look, he's climbing a bike.
Mom, you need to be careful when you're riding your bike, or there'll be evil fucking play like toys getting onto it. Yeah, it's a small world after all. So when I had the VHS, I didn't buy it, so it was like a taped one, like that I'd like cut the commercials out of, and like I remember where every commercial cut is.
Oh, those are good ones.
Yeah,
you're always expecting it right there. Like it's like oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
It's like burning a CD, and like when in the early 2000s there would be just this random like a weird like
that pop, yeah,
weird noise that would just throw it off. So now I'll be listening to like Hash Pipe by Weezer, to like boom 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 boom,
yeah,
and waiting to hear it, and it never comes up because I'm not broke. Dude, I'm listening to it on Spotify now.
Dude, I was watching it this time around, like Small Soldiers, and like it mostly, because the cuts mostly happen whenever Chip has a one-liner, like here when he's like, it's a small world after all, and then from there it goes to credits, but it's like, oh, it's not here. Like, sorry, to ads, and it's like, oh, it's not here.
Also, the fact that they're like, hey, yeah, you like Led Zeppelin? Okay, out of nowhere, she says that, by the way. Why put a fucking Led Zeppelin shirt on one of these people? And it's fucking 98. I mean, I get it. Led Zeppelin's an all-time enduring band, but like these kids would not be like, oh, you like Zeppelin too? That feels like an 80s thing, dude. You got to be like, oh, you like Stone Temple Pilots? You like Nirvana?
You like Simple Plan?
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, a little bit later on, but yeah, no, exactly. It's like 98. You're like, hey, you like Third Eye Blind?
I like Green Day.
Yeah, they're all
exactly.
It's like shit like that.
Yeah. Alan calls customer service. What? No, go.
Why do you guys call it Blink 182?
What do you think, Blink 182?
Yeah.
Well,
I noticed that, dude. I'm listening to like Australian podcasts and they say Blink 182, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck is Blink 182?
They're fucking numbers, all right? The fact is we say the numbers, all right? Just fuck off.
Oh, God.
Alan calls customer services. The woman who picks up is actually from Inspector Gadget, and I hope you picked this up, from Scary Movie. She plays Gail Hellstorm.
Is she Terry O'Sherry?
Who? What?
I think that's a comedic Terry O'Cherry or Terry O'Sherry.
Yeah, it is Terry something. I can't remember the full name. But
yeah, that's definitely her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because she's also in Liar Liar. She's the one with the fucked up hair.
Whatever takes the focus off your head.
Yeah. Cherie O'Terry is her name. Yeah, for sure. So confirmed, guys. Confirmed. You don't have to look it up yourself. I did all the work for you. Okay. All right. I'm not a ma'am. That's so weird. Like, why?
Of course, that makes me think of it's ma'am.
Oh my dude! Did you see that on my Instagram story? I
did.
Guys, you need to check out that video. Just type in "it is ma'am" on YouTube. You'll find it. It's hilarious. It's just a reveal of like him being a but yeah, it's a reveal. The first reveal. It's fantastic. At the Heartland press event, Larry sells the Commandos and the Gorgonites while Irwin tries to flag him down. I always loved Irwin's reaction to the Hazard costume. Whoa!
Oh, yeah.
And, dude, why is Irwin wearing a white lab coat? Like, I get that he's a technician or a designer, but you are not a scientist.
I kind of wanted to see him turn a corner, and all the walls started to get like blue and metallic, and he was at like Cyberdyne now, checking out the metal arm.
awesome. Like turns the key at the same time, and he's like, "How's the key, sir?"
I love Larry. It's just, come on, man, let's just go with the flow, whatever. And Irwin, the bald guy with glasses, is like, sir, we can't do that.
Well, actually, I'm actually surprised his name isn't Poindexter. Yeah. Owen finds out about the chips via Alan's phone call. I'd be suspicious that a customer service call reached the developers of the toys, dude. But, I mean, seeing as that, like, nobody's supposed to have the toys yet, I guess it kind of checks out, so.
Yeah, that's probably there. Wait a minute.
Yeah, they're like, wait, someone has their hands on these things?
You put munition chips in toys?
Yeah, awesome,
his
dude.
delivery is actually really good. I love that.
Dude. It's fantastic. And you know, Jay Moore's great here too. Like, it's like, what's the O?
Dude, I'll tell you something interesting really quick. Jay Moore actually quit at Saturday Night Live because he was having crippling panic attacks, like all the time. And he said it was actually Sarah Silverman who kind of helped him like get his head clear. And he's like, dude, I was going to like kill myself. He's like, I could not fucking handle it. Like, he was like, I was having fucking panic attacks like left and right. And he was only on SNL for like 2 or 3 seasons, dude. Like he literally, he was on he was appeared as a featured player for the 93, 94 and 94, 95 seasons. And that's it. And that's all he did on SNL. Like, he left voluntarily. I'm like, wow, please, if you're listening to this, look up Jay Moore's Christopher Walken impression. For the love of God, it is so fucking good, dude. Jay Moore, my friend. Like, dude, it is so fucking great.
Jay Moore. Yeah. Dude, as if I didn't need another reason to like Sarah Silverman. She's hilarious, dude. I love that woman.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
But yeah, Archer is lured out and ambushed by the Commandos. Dude, the light affects his eyes. Like, he reacts. Like, you have no corneas.
Hold on, I gotta stop and take a piss.
Yeah. Alan walks in on a crazy scene and he barely reacts. He's just like, hey, is all he says. Nick Nitro gets stuffed into the garbage disposal. Love it, dude. Like that practical effect of him spinning around. It's awesome. Dad walks out with a baseball bat, something my dad would do, with Mum right behind him in that exact formation. Like, that's exactly what would happen, dude. With a baseball bat as well. Except my dad's got a steel baseball bat, so haha. Alan fesses up, but now the parents think that he's a fucking idiot who gave a worse story than someone who's applying for fucking welfare. Like, come on, Alan, you could have made something up, dude. Projected aggression!
Oh, dude, yeah, that whole thing. He's like, oh, and you pawned my tools to pay for blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, they just go from, I mean, for one thing, let's talk about it.
I know exactly what you're about to say.
Well, I was saying, let's talk about Alan's plan for a second. He's like, I'm going to set up a cardboard display, take all these toys, sell all of the toys in like 36 hours, and have this whole display broken down when apparently you're at your shop like 2 hours a fucking week. Because you leave shop to give your dad his ticket, you close up because, dude, how are you going to sell these things? You're never open. What the fuck?
Yeah, no one is ever at the store to sell these damn toys. And yo,
are you on crank?
Oh. dude, the mom thinks he's on hard drugs. Like, she's straight to crystal meth, she says. Like, what the fuck? Do you know what the symptoms of crystal meth are, woman?
For one thing, I was never offered as many drugs as the DARE program in America thought that I was going to be offered. And it was never crystal meth. Like, I've never seen crystal meth. I've never seen anybody smoke it. Like, if I that's some fucking crazy shit. And to jump to like a 15-year-old having crystal meth. Like, here's another thing that bothers me. It's so odd. So you get the feeling that Alan and his family just moved there, right? Like, they seem kind of new in town.
Yeah, well, the mum does say that, we moved here to get away from the stress. That's what she says. Right.
And they already have, like, a built toy store and everything's running in it. Like, that's just so odd. It feels like they've been here for, like, a year. Yeah. And he's just now talking to this girl, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? This seems really odd.
I've got 2 words to explain why that is. And those words are 4 writers.
Yeah, I was going to say writers. Movie bullshit.
Yeah. So Archer is adamant that the Gorgonites are hiding in the garage. Hazard gives another pep talk. This is the basically we have weapons to use scene. Dude, you want to hear another pun? Nick Nitro falling in as he falls from the fucking window.
Oh God!
Commandos, secure the perimeter. I want to make it mobile and I want it lethal. I love Tommy Lee Jones. He's so 100% committed into this, man. Like, it's awesome. Alan and Archer find the Gorgonites in the trash. Ocular comes out first, and it totally reminds me of that one-eyed alien in the trash compactor in Star Wars, because they're in the trash.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I was like, dude, that must be a Star Wars reference. It's got to be. Alan says freaky like Frankenstein. This is the first of many Frankenstein references, by the way. Like,
oh yeah. Oh, and I also don't want to go past Nick Nitro dies, doesn't he? The Commando Elite Blues one? Yes, he does die.
Yeah, he just completely fucking pieces out. See ya. But I always like the design of Nick Nitro. I love the 5 o'clock shadow they give him.
Yeah, it's like permanent Robin Williams 5 o'clock shadow.
Right, exactly. Owen and Larry pay a visit to the Department of Defense. I love Owen losing his shit in decontamination. I don't think there's a problem with your software, Ralph. And Ralph just tells him that the chips are a big deal, that it's actual intelligence. He says that they're sensitive to EMP, but I'm like, Ralph, everything electronic is sensitive to EMP.
Right, yeah. And they're like, it can only happen in the wake of a nuclear burst. No, that's absolutely not true. No, there's natural EMPs that happen a lot.
Absolutely. Like, that is a thing. And by the way, this is why I knew what the EMP kill streak was in COD before everyone else. This movie. Everyone's like, I remember playing with my mates, and they're like, ooh, what's the EMP kill streak? I'm like, I know that. I can tell you that.
Do you ever play Modern Warfare 2? Is that the one you're talking about?
Dude, I've played every Call of Duty since World of War, so. And COD 4, yeah.
I haven't played, I remember playing Modern Warfare 2, playing free-for-all and getting a nuke twice. You know how fucking hard that is in free-for-all, dude?
25 kills.
I'm 25 kills in a row. I've never shot so many people that I ran out of my own ammo and had to start shooting with other people's guns, and I felt like a god.
Like, it was so much easier in Modern Warfare 2 because your kill streaks, if you shot someone with a Predator missile, like, those would count toward that 25 kills. Whereas in Modern Warfare 3, they made it, it has to be actual, like, kills, like, that you actually physically do and no kill streaks.
Right.
So yeah, that made it so much more harder. And everyone exploited that in Modern Warfare 2, man. Like, that shit became unplayable at a point. Like, fuck. By the way, Ralph sneezes here. Like, I always thought that was random. Like, I'm just like, that's just so, like, out of left field, but all right. Back in Alan's room, Slamfist and Ocular watch watch wrestling and comment, "It looks so real, doesn't it?" You hear that, Patrick? Do you hear that, Patrick?
Yeah.
It ain't real, man. It ain't real, and neither is Santa.
My favorite part of the scene is when they change the fucking channel.
Oh, my God. Oh, you know what? They changed the channel, and it's to this fucking thing that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Really?
This movie is called The Crawling Eye. It's a black and white movie. This thing, the way the sound it makes and like the way it looks, I was like, "Oh, that is scary. That's freaking me out." And of course, this is the moment where Christy says that she only dates older guys. Okay, Christian. All right. And dude, this was the first time I'd ever heard the song "Another One Bites the Dust" by Queen.
Oh yeah.
How much did you jizz, Colin? Tell me, be honest.
I was like, oh fuck, dude, that's awesome. Like, it kind of out of nowhere, I was just like, because like I actually like, it's one of the few Queen songs I actually know how to play. I can play it on bass. It's super super simple. But I just started hearing it and I just immediately started air guitaring, boom, boom, boom. It's super fucking simple, but dude, it's undeniably, it's like hearing
iconic.
Superstition or something. Yeah, it's so just
Yeah.
doom, boom, 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 boom. You can't help but not move, man.
Absolutely. This is the scene where they're creating the vehicles that they use later. And Link Static tells Hazard that Alan's weakness is Christy. Alan talks to Archer, explains the windows. I mean, if they can build cars like these little robot toys, right? If they can build cars, how the fuck do they not know what windows are?
Right, yeah. That's like there's some things like you're talking about the Gorgonites, right?
Yeah, this entire window scene where Alan explains, and beyond that, like they just assume, they're just talking about the windows. Like it's weird,
right? And that's the thing. I think if you do actually want to touch on some deeper themes that I think are kind of cool for just a second, like the fact of like this almost has I'm not comparing these two movies, but this and like Blade Runner kind of have that whole, this is what I'm programmed to do, but I can learn and I can adapt and I can choose to do what I want. And I actually really like that. I love the fact that Archer is just like, the whole time they're losing and they're just hiding. And he's like, that's what I was programmed to do. But he's like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm not doing that anymore. And I actually like that a lot. So I think they're always at a disadvantage of like tactically knowing shit. Like their whole thing is just like, I want to go home. Like that's all it is. So I think like having to explain it like makes a little bit of sense, but at the same time, I've always felt like they had to make the Commando Elites more menacing and more knowledgeable because the whole point is the Commando Elites wiping out the Gorgonites. That's the whole plot, basically. Whereas like the people we're supposed to be rooting for, and if we were these kids playing with toys, are actually the like antagonists when you look at it from like a more, I guess, adult kind of view, you know?
I get it. See, the way I kind of approach it is like the Commando Elite were designed to be these militaristic, more sort of intelligent sort of group of characters, whereas the Gorgonites are basically barbarian aliens. And therefore, like, I think it's the chip that's like making like each of those sides more and more intelligent. So it's like, the Gorgonites, they're wanting to know more about the surrounding environment, more about their world, and obviously it works the same way for the Commandos. Like they're actually learning to build shit. So I think it works on both levels there. Like I just thought it was weird, like how, like at first I was a bit like taken aback. It's like, how can they build cars but they don't know what windows are? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know, but yeah,
whatever.
Whatever. And they just assume that Gorgon's out there when Alan like runs out of things to explain.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Gorgon must be out there because Alan doesn't know what's out there. Yeah, all right.
Well, the crazy part is like, I can learn and I can build. So you're not real.
Right.
You're a toy. And you meet the guy that created you in the movie.
Yeah.
You understand that, right?
Right. To quote our good friend Woody, you are a toy! And with that, guys, Colin, what do you say we take a break right here, my man?
I'm cool with that.
Fucking awesome, guys. We will be right back with more Small Soldiers coverage. Do not go anywhere. Well, look who made it this far into the episode. Just while we're taking a quick break here, we've got a few things that we just wanted to put out there for any newcomers, or if you're not part of our growing community, maybe this could benefit you too. Firstly, we just want to let the newbies know about our episodes and the way Midnight Double Feature currently is structured. As you know, right now you're listening to one of our feature presentations. When we started the podcast, we basically built the show around our feature presentations. These are movies that we choose to cover and basically go through everything in the movie that's worth talking about sequentially. These episodes are generally longer, and we're definitely looking at ways to spice up our feature presentations by hopefully getting guests on. We also have our upcoming attractions episode. Typically, these come out during the week and are much more shorter than our feature presentations. These are hosted by Matt Vella and basically consist of a conversation between Matt and I about any movie news that's worth talking about, quick reviews of movies that are out of the cinema, and other hijinks. Finally, we have our special features. These are usually one-off special episodes that are mostly experimental and don't really have any specific definition. They could be a sit-down with a cast or crew member, a conversation between the hosts, or just a straight-up different thing that might not even relate to film. Before I let you get back to the episode, I just wanted to thank our listeners and supporters. We definitely couldn't have done any of this without your guys' constant support. If, for some reason, you're not a part of our growing community, head to our socials. We've got 2 pages on Facebook, Midnight Double Feature, which is our main page and has our formal announcements, and we also have the After Party, which is where we post memes, news, and teasers of what's to come on Midnight Double Feature. We're also on Instagram, which is at Midnight Double Feature, and Twitter, which is at MDF Pod. You can also send us an email if you have any grievances or would like to let us know what we're doing wrong. That's midnightdoublefeature@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, guys. Back to the show. Welcome back, guys. We are freshly squeezed. We're covering oh my god. Why is it every time we come back from a break, I can't talk? Like, like I did this last week on Casino Royale, dude. I'm just like tongue-tied. But guys, thank you for bearing with us. We are back. We're going to dive right back into Small Soldiers. We're about halfway through. This is the scene with Phil Fimple with the TV, of course, the great Phil Hartman. So I was always jealous of this TV setup, and like now it just looks like shit.
I've got like a 60-inch on my wall in my living room. Like, all right, whatever,
dude. Like I will throw away a 60 inch. Like it's fine. Like whatever. It's got a little dead pixel. See ya. Bye.
Dude, the amount of like you would need more people. You would need more people hauling that TV in than fucking Paul Beers on a coffin. Like, dude, it is so because let me tell you what we used to do back in the day. We would have our Halo System Link parties.
Oh yeah,
and eventually we got these huge TVs at our friend's house. Had to take them from his top floor down into the basement, like a 3-story house. So we just eventually put them down on blankets. Everybody grabbed a corner and walked it down. And I was like, yeah.
God,
so we perfected that shit, dude. And they're heavy as fuck, man.
Heavy as fuck, yeah. By the way, as soon as you said Halo, I just started thinking of the theme music. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. By the way, dude, we talked about it once on the episode already, on the podcast already with Danny about Halo. But I was thinking the other day, just quick tangent that has nothing to do with Small Soldiers. That's that moment in Halo 2 when you jump off the bridge onto that scarab and you take down the scarab from the inside. God damn. They don't make games like that anymore.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's the chroma, fresh tones, way off. Like he's trying to like calibrate his TV. And the commander has just straight up drugged the Fimples. Like,
oh yeah, they straight up like Cosby, both these people.
Dude. How does Hazard identify gin and tonic just by looking at it?
I love putting some stuff into your drink.
Well, I'm in jail now. Prison. Yeah. Dude, this is something that I totally empathize with. When Phil says, I think World War II was my favorite war.
Oh my God.
You know what? It's hilarious, but at the same time, I've been in this situation where I'm like, you know what, man? I'm totally interested about World War II. Like that over any other war, over the Vietnam War, any World War One. Like World War II is the one that interests me the most, to the point where I actually want to travel to the locations in Europe, like the major theaters and shit. And I've actually said to someone, yeah, World War II is my favorite war. And I'm just like, it dawned on me after like how ridiculous that sounds. And I'm just like, oh my God, like Phil Hartman saying that, totally, I empathize with you, dude. Like that is crazy. The commandos subdue Timmy. Hold your fire, man. And dude, I love this. When this guy gets, when one of the soldiers gets promoted, wasn't my idea, Major.
yeah, the little kids. Yeah.
He's like, Major Chip Hazard, you are dead, and I'm promoting you. Wasn't my idea, Major. And then we get the Gwendy doll scene. Requested 3-day pass, sir. Denied. Dude.
Dude, you know who 2 of these Wendy dolls are?
Yeah. Look, I looked it up once. Isn't one of them, fuck. One of them from Charmed. What's her name?
No, it's Christina Ricci and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
That's right. Sorry. How did I get Sarah Michelle Gellar mixed up with, what's her name? Like the she's a feminist from Charmed. I'm forgetting her name.
Rose McGowan.
Yes. I don't know how I got them mixed up because Sarah Michelle Gellar is, like one of my favorite child woman loves.
died. Say words thing.
I was trying to leave the word wank out of it, but it was tough. Oh man. But yeah, like that is wild. Like it's so weird that it's like them two, like those two really big celebrities, because they were massive at the time.
Random.
They were massive at this time. Like this was Sarah Michelle Gellar's sort of heyday with Buffy, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. This was like right in the like. It had come out. I mean, I'm in the earlier 90s, but still 98 was in like full swing.
Yeah, dude, ripping the head off Nick Nitro is kind of wild. Like this is like the dinosaur in Jurassic World knowing that it has a chip in it. Like, do you remember that? Like, it's like we understand that there is a chip in our brain, so we're gonna rip it out and use it to our advantage.
Yeah, well, whenever he's ripping the skin off his head, it just totally reminded me of T2 when they go to Miles Dyson's house and he just cuts the skin off his arm. Like, I would have loved as he's pulling the skin off of his head. It's just like bum 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 bum.
Oh man, I'm dripping wet for that movie. I can't wait to cover that movie. Once we become better podcasters, we'll get on that shit, guys. Don't worry. The Wendy creation scene is actually kind of cool, man. Like it's shot like a horror movie with these flashing lights and the way like they kind of do this setup. By the way, it would take them 8 years to set all this shit up. Like this is
one of those things is literally just like an electro ball you touch and it sends the current somewhere else, and it's like their main focus. Like it's like their Dr. Victor Frankenstein main machine. I'm like, come the fuck on.
Yeah, where'd you get that? Wait, like, did you raid their pantry? Like, it's alive! Hard cut to Frankenstein. Did you like that?
Oh, yeah, especially with Frankenstein, like, watching it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I just said. Jesus Christ.
Well, fuck you.
So Chrissy's gay boyfriend gets rejected at the door. And he tries...
You are such a hottie.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That blew me away. I was like, is that a line? Like, did someone actually wrote that in a script? He tries to go over lines to get her in her pants, but then it's like, what does he do now? Like, he's gay. Come on. Like, he...
Just let it go.
Let it go, man. Like, you've already been rejected. Christy walks in on a horror scene in her room. I talked to my mate Chris about this. So he's like, what are you covering on the podcast this weekend? And I'm like, Small Soldiers, dude. Remember that? He's like, yeah, that movie gave me nightmares. And I'm like, what? Really? Which scene? And he's like, this scene. This scene is wild. Like this.
No, it definitely is. Wild. It's like Tim Burton got a hold of Sid's toys from Toy Story.
Yeah, like the tone of it is just different and so like in a different direction of like what the movie's already set up.
No, yeah, it's super weird because it's just this whole like like they start jumping on Brad, her boyfriend, like, oh, you have such broad shoulders. Do you work out? And it's like, oh fuck.
But dude, like the laughing, like that echoey laugh, like I'm just like, whoa, this is. As a kid, man, like I was like, this is creepy, man. But this time around, I was like rolling my eyes because of the puns. Like the puns are rough. But yeah, dude, dude, are you scared? We're all scared. You'd have to be crazy not to be scared. Love it. And by the way, is that a movie reference? Is that a reference from another movie?
I don't know. Nothing comes to my mind.
I ask you because I Googled it and I couldn't find it. So if that's original, that feels iconic. Doesn't that feel iconic?
It's got a cool ring to it.
Yeah. By the way, there's an ad break there as well. Just saying. Just letting you guys know. There's an ad break there. Alan receives the hostage video. By the way, how did they fire the tape through the window? What did they use? But anyway.
Yeah.
He gets the hostage tape, and basically this is Christy just giving the demands, which only there is one. And I love like one of the Gorgonites just off screen. What else is on? He just and then we get this decoy scene, which by the way we'll get to it. It's not there yet. I'm like, where the fuck did they get dynamite? Like this.
I know, right? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I understand you're these like advanced chip. Whatever, but I'm like, you're getting your hands on some shit that, like, I guess you got the access codes that Jay Moore and David Cross got too. I don't know.
You know, I think it's fireworks, because like when it blows up, it doesn't blow up like dynamite. It blows up like fireworks. Like it's more smoky than like an actual fireball. And it might be from the kids, like the kid room or something. I don't know. I'm shit talking here. I'm not defending this movie. Like that's yeah. Meanwhile, Alan rescues Christy from the Gwendys. Why does she say she always hated these things? Like, is there a subplot where she was just like trying to fit in, and that's why she was collecting him? Like,
yeah, I don't know. That is a random, kind of random line.
Random line, and she just goes apeshit, dude. She uses that baton, and she's just fucking blasting him away. By the way, I was saying to you off air during the break here. From this scene where the Fimples get drugged, it is like a hard like. Just a straight shot to the end. Like this movie is 2 hours. Don't forget that. This is a movie about talking toys that become sentient, and it's 2 hours, and it doesn't feel like it. And I think this last sort of hour kind of flies by, which is a great thing. This is awesome. What do you think about that?
No, for sure, because like they front loaded it with so much stuff. Like they're giving you the like the how this is possible, and now it's just letting things kind of like unfold, and I like that. I think that's smart,
right? And then we get this chase scene to War by Edwin Starr. First time I'd heard War as well. Fucking awesome, dude.
Oh damn!
How awesome! How great is that line? Like they look back at the garage door, like they can hear the stuff behind it, and all you hear is one of the commandos' voice. Anybody got a garage door opener? It's just like, but man, this scene. When I was a kid, I loved it, but now it's kind of silly. Kind of silly.
You talking about them rolling out of the garage?
Rolling out of the garage, this whole chase scene, dude. Like I said, just kick them over. I would just
love if a dog ran up and just picked one of them up in its teeth and ran off.
Right.
Like, oh, fuck.
Right. Like, just kick them over. Or, like, go head on with that scooter and run them over, dude. Like, just, yeah. Like, and dude, why do they come together like a goddamn Power Rangers Megazord? Like, why do they have to interlock?
Oh, dude, one thing when one of them rolls up and starts shooting Alan in the leg with a little corn cob holders, I was like, dude, that fucking hurts, man. Like, I would be screaming, dude. I'd be like, what the fuck?
Well, I think that plays through what you were talking about earlier with like these random sequences of violence that come into it a little bit. Like don't forget that this is a 16-year-old. Like this kid
he has 4 of those in his leg.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, dude. This is like the opening scene from RoboCop. They're just blowing him away with shotguns and torturing him.
Peter Weller's just over there fucking scraping his head off. But it's like there's that, and then later when like the dad gets shot with a nail gun, dude, I'm like, wow. Like they're doing some stuff. Like they're not really holding back on a lot, but yeah. So they smash car windows with the disc that they're firing. Like these things probably like pack a punch, even though they don't look it. And dude, like that flamethrower is badass. Like there's a scene where like a sequence where Alan like turns around and like one of them's already on the street with blasting a fucking flamethrower. Badass.
One thing I think this movie is lacking that it might have been in there, and then they cut it out, for this, PG versus PG-13 version, is because you're right. It's like, dude, this feels so silly. What the fuck? I would love if there's some kind of like a neighbor or someone on the street and they just fucking kill this guy. And you're like, oh shit. Like they can actually really fuck shit up because, right, you as the viewer, you're just like, this is ridiculous. And then they fire off 2 discs and fucking, like hit some guy in the throat and kill him. And you're like, oh shit. Like these guys can actually fuck something up. But you don't ever get that feeling. You just get, like, you get the feeling that, like, for one thing, them shooting fireballs and like knocking down a tree. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Some of it feels just absolutely insane, but other parts of it are underwhelming at the same time. It's really odd.
Right, you need to show me like that these commandos are actually capable of stuff, right? Like, I would have loved to see like some random like passerby being barbecued by the flamethrower or some shit, but yeah.
Right.
So this scooter is fucking hilarious, dude. This thing looks like 100 years old.
It's like the Fagio from fucking Vice City.
Remember that? Nice, good pull, dude. You and the GTA, you and the GTA references today. Fucking hell, man.
I know. God, now I really want to go play some now.
Yeah. There's no way these toys would be able to keep up with this scooter. By the way, I don't care how old it is. I don't care how old it is.
Dude.
Like, like you said, dude. Trees and power poles coming down shows the budget. Which, by the way, $60 million is nothing to scoff at in 1998.
Yeah, because I mean, I think it only made like 70 back too.
Yeah. But it's like also like, why don't you use those missiles before? Like, why did you decide? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if that's you're packing a lot of punch with those missiles. Should have used that before, dude. And what are you using as explosives, by the way? Like, what did you find in the Fimple house that was explosive like that?
Yeah. Like Phil Hartman's like he's working with like the 10 rings from Iron Man. He's like building bombs and shit.
Phil Hartman's secretly the fucking like Bryan Cranston's character from Breaking Bad, like with a meth lab, like everything's explosive in his garage.
He's the Unabomber.
By the way, is this scooter carrying E.T.? Like, the way this scooter jumps over this hill and gains air at the end.
The way it lands is just so like, oh my God, that is hilarious.
I am expecting it to sail in front of the goddamn moon, like the way it gains the air. Like fucking E.T. And dude, I'm not even kidding. I burst out laughing when the commandos crashed.
Oh yeah, dude, it's fucking goofy.
They're yelling. The yelling before they crash is hilarious. It's just like a collective. Oh! It's awesome. Ellen and Chrissy arrive to the parents having an argument while Chip Hazard floats down the river to the toy store where, lo and behold, out of all the delivery drivers, he meets Joe. All the delivery drivers, and he gains reinforcements. Greetings, you've been drafted. Phil asks Christy, he's brainwashed you, hasn't he? And Alan says, okay, so here, look, dude, this is weird. Alan says, see, I told you they were hiding. Immediately after one of the Gorgonites says hi to Phil and is in plain sight, just on a fucking shelf. Like, how's he hiding?
Yeah, right. I guess he wasn't there like 2 minutes before. Yeah, I don't really know.
Did he just appear? I don't know. But you know who does appear? Erwin and Larry. They rock up to tell Alan that the toys may be defective, in Erwin's words. And I love Jay Moore here, dude. Bear in mind, you might be called into court to substantiate your claim. Dude, the punch that Stuart throws, doesn't it sound like it's been ripped from Indiana Jones? It's got that punchy sound to it.
Oh yeah, it's fucking it's kind of lame.
Yeah, no, dude, it's super lame. I mean, come on, it's fucking 1998 PG violence.
Right.
Erwin meets the Gorgonites. Like you said, dude, the creation meeting the creator. I do wish we got a little bit more from the Gorgonites here. Like, oh man, this is our creator.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like, you know, a little bit of Blade Runner shit. I don't know.
Right, they would. Yeah, you seem like they're the ones who are like, very spiritualistic, kind of natural. They almost have this like Native American kind of vibe to them. So it's like, yeah, you think they would be, they think they would be interested in that. You think they would have that kind of like spiritual, like, right. The one above all, like kind of thing.
And like the design of Archer especially, right? Like it lends to that Native American sort of like the motif, the look of him. Yeah, but like Erwin meets the Gorgonites, but it's like he's seeing them for the first time. Like, I know they didn't test him, but it's like, how did they not even see them after they got off the production line? Like, he's so kind of like amazed at them.
I know, like, you don't have one at home, you just took for yourself. Yeah. Like, come on, dude.
They're fucking toys, right? Come on, dude. The commandos shut off the power, and we get this climactic siege scene, right? Dude, I love Tommy Lee Jones's voice work here. Secure the left perimeter, secure the right perimeter. Like, he's fucking awesome, man. He needs to play more generals.
I know, right?
Fucking awesome, dude. Phil walks out with a white flag. Hi, I'm Phil Fimple. I'm here to negotiate a surrender with the Gorgonzolas. And then after that, hey, is that my JVC? God damn, Phil Hartman. God damn it. Cue If You Want to Be My Lover by the Spice Girls, because, of course.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Jesus. And I love the neighbors just knowing that it's the Fimples, right? Like, they just, they immediately assume that it's Phil. Like, they turn the volume up on their TV and shit. Dude, the nail gun launcher is badass. Like, I always thought that was fucking sick. Like, we don't get any bullets fired in this movie, but, man, the nail guns were fucking awesome, I thought, as a kid. And the tennis balls, like the flaming tennis balls, were pretty cool too. But again, it's a little out there. It's a little wacky. What do you think? What do you think of the tennis balls? Like, it was fine.
I mean, yeah, it's just kind of like I like the fact that that Alan's mom actually ends up being like proactive in this scene. You know, and she's probably like, I've been repressed sexually for the last 16 years, and all I've been doing is playing tennis. And she just starts fucking going ape shit.
Right, exactly.
I do kind of like that. But it is kind of like they kill you in just like goofy ways. You know, the nail gun's about the hardcorest thing they have.
Yeah.
The rest of it's like tennis balls and fucking bubbles.
Fucking
and
nets.
shit. Just like, right, yeah, just random like pacifying shit, you know?
Dude, there's one sweeping shot of the commandos, like, it's like kind of like crawling on the ground as like, it's kind of like a war scene, like the Normandy beach landing scene at the start of Saving Private Ryan. It's kind of cool. It's like this sweeping shot through the grass, and it's like them crawling away. The tennis ball, like flaming tennis ball, lands back like on the ground next to them. It's really cool. It's really short, but like it did remind me of Saving Private Ryan, which, like I said, came out the same year. And Owen and Larry explained that they need an EMP. Dude, you know what I always found annoying? This fucking phrase, "way to stay, heads up." I can't do it.
Oh yeah, that's kind of like when someone's like, good deal. I'm like, what? Good deal? Yeah, what are you saying?
Right. And Phil, when they figure out that they have to put something metal between the Transformers, you get a nice power boost right until they overload and blow up. It only happened once. And then we get the obligatory "you're my son, I have to trust you" moment, I guess, which closes Alan's arc. You can tell I'm so high on Alan as a character in this movie because, right. And then Chip's got a helicopter, and Ride of the Valkyries plays. Fucking throwback.
Maybe think of Watchmen.
Oh, really? It made me think of Apocalypse Now, because it's like,
I've never seen it.
Really? Oh, well, the most famous sequence in that movie is the scene where they come through with these choppers, and it's Ride of the Valkyries that they're playing on the choppers through the speakers. It's awesome. It's badass, actually. But fucking Watchmen, dude. Awesome. Good pull. Guys, listen to our Watchmen episode. Listen to it. I love the Alan's mom and Phil running away. Let me in, damn it, Fimple, you freak! Let me in.
Well, I love right after that kind of the car's riding by and it's like, all clear's on the Western Front. Yard.
Yeah. Archer tries to wrangle the Gorgonites to help the humans. No more hiding. By the way, did you like the 10-pin bowling sound as the Gorgonite barges into the commandos?
I didn't. Oh, yeah. No, that's...
Boy.
Oh. What's wacky? Super wacky.
Alan gets up to the power boxes, Hazard's chopper goes down, and the Gorgonites fire the nail gun, and he bails. And of course, Archer gets up there and battles Hazard, who defeats him and kicks him off, which I was not expecting, actually. Like, he just gets...
Yeah, he just stabs him and kicks the fuck out of
him. But you know what, dude? I like the CG here, especially when Hazard stabs, like, Archer in the knee. Like, I thought that was cool, man, that jump that he does and, like, the way, like, Archer pulls a knife out. For some reason, I've got a joke that I wrote down here, but then I took an arrow to the knee. That's Skyrim fucking reference.
Oh, yeah.
Then Alan just casually grabs Hazard and fries him. You stupid toy! Okay.
Yeah, for one thing, Alan would have just been like, it just would have killed him like instantly. I'd love to see that fucking alternate ending where he sticks him and it blows him 10 feet back off the fucking thing.
It's like, hey,
like a Zack.
Hey, bro, that's not how electricity works.
Blow him back like a Zack Snyder punch, like he just like, like goes flying off.
Like the movie ends with his funeral. Like it's just a super dark ending. Oh man. But yeah, Alan fries him, sending an EMP blast throughout the neighborhood. And dude, why the fuck did you not use a lawnmower from the beginning?
Yeah, right?
Like this goes into my thing where it's like, you could have kicked him over, or you could have used the lawnmower. Like, you know what I mean? And then, like I said, dude, that cringeworthy dialogue. Oh, relationship? We're in a relationship now? Okay. All right. Oh, man. Young love. Young scripted love.
Young 90s love.
Oh, boy. Post-war cleanup scene, right? The area is secure? Bring him in, says Miss Kegel. And I actually do like this. Mars paying off everyone. It's kind of gold. Like, it's just fucking, everyone's complaining about the damage, and like the fucking rich ass CEO is just like, here's your check.
Yeah, with the critical head injury and the emotional distress I've been playing today.
But here's a check with more than a few zeros on it. And dude, he tells Larry and Irwin, get in touch with that military division. What?
I know, right? He's like, I know some South American warlords who would love these. I'm like, oh, okay, that's awesome.
And I can't believe I'm bringing this movie up the second time on this podcast, but this is like the plan in Jurassic World where they want to militarize the raptors. Like this, like you what are you gonna do? Like you're gonna send these toys into the fucking war zone? What are you gonna do?
It's kind of like you send a bunch of toys down for like these like South American rebels shit. Like you imagine like what kind of rebellion needs G.I. Joe? Like these little bitty G.I. Joes like running everywhere.
I just want to point out that something really meta. So audience, you didn't hear anything. It's gonna sound all seamless to you because through the magic of editing. But we just had a power failure, and like Colin and I just had to take a pause. So how funny is it that immediately after the EMP sequence, we have a power failure? Like that's so fucking insane, dude.
I never thought about that. That's crazy.
That's crazy. It occurred to me as I was frustrating and calling you. I'm like, fuck, why can't I hear him? And I'm gonna have to edit all this shit out. Fuck's sake.
I never thought about that. In the last 10 minutes, yeah, of course, I never thought about that. Jesus, I say some stupid fucking shit sometimes.
I know. But anyway, man.
I know. We don't have time for that anyways.
Alan and Christy kiss. Hooray. Yay. It's like watching two blocks of wood make out. Yay. Gil Mars. Gil, the what is it? The ostrich? Ha ha. Dude, Gil Mars. It would have made a hell of a commercial. And then pan down to the Globotech Industries logo. What is that? Oh, man. Alan finds the Gorgonites under a satellite dish, safe from the EMP blast, conveniently.
Yeah, that is one thing I was reading about, is there's like a lot of like anything that's made out of like a certain kind of metal or something like that. It is actually like it's impenetrable from EMP. So like a lot of people like doomsday preppers will put like cell phones and flashlights and stuff like that in one of those boxes. So if or when it happens, they're not fucked. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
That is cool. I took it more of like because I'm a cynical bastard. I took it more of like, you know, when Indiana Jones gets in that lead line fridge and he gets nuked.
Oh God, It's not that bad.
Yeah. No, it's not that bad. That is awful, Spielberg. I don't know what you were doing, but yeah. And then basically it ends with Alan just sending him to Gorgon, right? Or, I mean, like, he's just fucking floating down the river. What happens to these toys? Like,
dude, a half mile down this river, they either hit some rapids or they all get fucking mauled by like wolves.
I'll tell you what happens, man. Like, they fucking go overboard, and because they're running on batteries or some kind of like chip, they get fried. They're done. See ya. Like, they're gone.
Right, I like to think that they get stranded on an island and it becomes like Lord of the Flies.
Nice. Good pull, dude. Hope we don't hit an iceberg. Yep, good.
Oh, God.
That's a Titanic reference, ladies and gentlemen, because we're in 1998. So, yeah. Oh, all right, man. That's fucking Small Soldiers. This was an amazing trip down memory lane, dude. I'm so glad we took this nostalgic trip down, because this entire week watching this movie twice, by the way, twice. It was good. Like, it was like I was thrown back to my childhood. I was posting in the after party, like I was posting the theme song that I just played at the start. Like, it just took me back. And watching it now as an adult, not all of it holds up, but it's still some of it is actually genuinely great. There is some good stuff here. But like you said, dude, it's not incredible like I did think as a child. Now that we have seen actual fucking war movies.
Right, yeah.
It is a bit, yeah. But there are, a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff, and I think Joe Dante was probably the best director to direct this, to be honest. Like, he's got this lovable childlike style, like that Chris Columbus style / Steven Spielberg style. Like, Spielberg's got those movies that he hasn't really technically directed, but people think that he's directed, like Gremlins or like Poltergeist. And I think, although Small Soldiers isn't one of them, you kind of do get that Spielbergian feel sometimes, which is great, which is awesome. Like, that old school Spielbergian feel is fantastic. But yeah, man, really, really glad to have taken this trip down memory lane with you. Give us your closing thoughts, because I just gave mine. So,
yeah, I used to love this movie. I like it now. It's decent. It's not bad. I think they do a great job of blending practical and CGI. I want like release the Snyder cut. Like, I want like the PG-13 like rated cut of this. I really want to see that, because I'm sure that gets a little bit darker and people died. It's fucking cool. Like, I'm like, all right, awesome. Like, a little bit more violence you can push there, because this is not like 1975 or 85 PG. This is like 1998 PG, which is like Air Bud. It's like, dude, that is like, that's super, super soft. So the PG rating you can get away with in the 70s and 80s is not what you can get away with in the 90s. And I think that's one thing that just really hindered it. But all in all, I still like it. I mean, it's probably like a 6.5 out of 10. It's a kid's movie. What are you going to do? I don't enjoy this as an adult, but the kid me would have given that a 10 out of 10 stars.
Absolutely, dude. I think 6.5 is literally my score as well, man. I can't. It's too high for a 7 and it's too low for a 6. So yeah, can't do that. But look, before we head out of here, like we said, we had a litany of comments for this movie. Colin, did you have any pulled up at the moment?
Yeah, I've got some from Instagram.
Awesome. So, look, you can hit us with Instagram, and I'll hit us with Facebook. Just quickly, though, one of them on Instagram you might not really know about, because one of my dear friends, Adrienne, one of the reasons I did choose this movie was also because I saw it on her Instagram story. She was watching it, and I was like, oh my God, yes. And I was like, I need to cover this on the podcast soon. And it was just in my head. So thank you for the indirect inspiration, Adrienne. Really appreciate it. So Colin, yeah, finish us off with the Instagram comments, and I'll hit us with the after party comments.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, like I said, we had a lot of people chime in for this. I was like, wait, what the fuck? There's, sorry, we've got, Critical playing a coconut on Instagram. One of my favorite movies. Mind of Haas. Oh my God, one of my favorite classics. I'm like, God damn, some strong opinions. Also, there's a guy on Instagram, Joker's Custom, says, I'm obsessed. I've been recreating these epic toys. He's got a pretty cool page. He does a lot of work with it. It's actually pretty neat. I checked it out. We chatted a little bit over Instagram, but does a lot of work with looks like kind of like modeling and like recreating these toys from Small Soldiers and stuff. Definitely a Stan Winston fan. So anybody who likes Stan Winston is a friend of mine. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all of the ones we've got on Instagram. Really, what do you get on Facebook?
Man, Facebook, we would be here all day. But seriously, Clay, thank you so much for commenting, dude. Clay's how awesome is Clay? Like,
oh yeah, he's awesome. He's always chiming in.
Fuck yeah, man! Like, he mentioned that he mentioned this movie to you the other day, apparently.
Oh yeah, we were actually talking about it like 2 weeks before you picked it. And I was like, oh, that's weird.
Fucking awesome, dude! Like, I love it when a good plan comes together, man.
Right.
So Patrick Harrington's he thought that this for sure was your pick because you're always the nostalgic
right?
ones. How great is that, man? But yeah, Clay, like I said at the start, he did go on to say that, he gave us a little bit more trivia before I started to do some research on this movie. He did mention that, they were headed to a more darker tone, which, like, I think both of us are in agreement, Colin. We would have liked to see more of that, so for sure.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And look, that's Patrick Harrington closes off with, I haven't seen this in forever. How insane is this cast? Totally agree with you, dude. Totally agree. Dude, that's it. That's fucking Small Soldiers, man. Done and dusted.
Thank God.
Thank God we got that piece of shit out of the way. Colin, next week is your pick. I'm really excited to see what you pick. So, guys, if you want to see what we're covering next week, be sure to check into the After Party on Facebook. That's the After Party, 2 words. And that's where we will post a little teaser of what we're covering next. I'm pretty sure, Colin, you're going to choose a doozy. You've already given me a couple of options, and I'm just like, I like them both. So, for sure. And then we also have Midnight Double Feature, which is our main page on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram, which is at Midnight Double Feature, and Twitter, which is at MDF Pod. Colin, do you have anything else to say before we head out of here?
No, just stop by, rate, review us on iTunes, let us know how we're doing, or you can shoot us a email at midnightdoublefuture@gmail.com. That's about it.
Fucking awesome. Guys, thank you so much for joining us down this trip down memory lane, and we will see you next time.